Woo, what's up, everybody? I see DeAndre, Chaos Rain, Simply Deep, Linda Anderson. What's up? Oh yes. We're gonna have a good time tonight. Gonna have a great time tonight. But first, before we begin, we must
Okay.
hit that theme song.
Yes, yes. 1 second. 1 second. Hold on. Let me find it. Um. hmm. Oh, yes. No, no. It'll be good sometimes before you hit the live. We play it first. Give the music working before everybody starts get into the groove. All right. Let's scroll down. Where is Ric Flair? Oh, yes. Here it is. Found it.
Thank you. I'm glad to be somebody's favorite. I guess the whole world's trying to shit on me, but guess what? I'm not a toilet.
And as we present the theme, ah, wonderful, wonderful. I have to always start off the theme. What's good, everybody?
What's up,
What,
Chaos?
what's good, man? Everything good, bro? I noticed the title, and it speaks for itself. Why are
Like,
you ladies so combatant? What is the point of being so combatant to your black brother, your king, the man that is the head of everything, the patriarchal black man? Why? It's so not sexy. It's so not ladylike.
let's be totally honest.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go balls deep into the shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's
No.
rather it's
Mm-hmm.
rather masculine.
Oh yeah.
It's
Goodness.
it's rather masculine. Like like his femininity has been discarded.
Mm-hmm.
You'll either get women who want to try the passive aggressive bullshit,
Mm-hmm.
or they'll want to try some really, really, really vile, aggressive, like we're in a street fight, brass knuckles,
Mm-hmm.
swinging chains, stiletto knives, hand to hand combat aggressive. And
Yep.
then they'll go on to places like Kevin Samuels or BGS and then ask the reason why they're not married,
Mm-hmm.
why they can't have a fulfilling relationship. Because you don't want a spouse, you really want a sparring partner.
Yep.
You get all this advice from a bunch of single bitches. And yes, we do know the difference between a lady, a woman, and a bitch. But
Yep.
you get advice from a single bitch, 50,
If
60 years old, bitter.
mm-hmm.
For what? Please tell me what has it benefited you all this time? Why, why do you why do women, especially black women in particular,
Mm-hmm.
treat finding a man while they're young and sticking with that guy when you know he's a promise or he's a prospect, like it's a goddamn crime.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to be called a whore, but you want to ride that cock carousel like it's a Six Flags amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
But yet, the more bodies you have, the less value you carry.
Exactly.
We have to see the correlation here that not only do you not understand black men or men in general, but you don't respect men and what they say. That's like an older guy once told me, Chaos and
Yeah.
chat.
Mm-hmm.
Women never dress, especially for black women. Black women don't dress to impress black men. They dress to compete with each other.
Yep.
So when you have women wearing weaves that weigh as much as the front end of my car, of my truck, being ridiculous with too many tattoos. I mean, I don't mind tattoos on a female, but at some point you shouldn't look like you on like One Piece and you're one of the goddamn pirates.
Yeah, man. The tattoo culture has been going out of hand, bro. I have to really look at and evaluate some women that even have it. That you should treat your body as a work, not only a work of art, but as a vessel that you want to be able to use and maintain as long as you can in this earth. To sit there to decorate with many paintings. Now I'm gonna get pushback saying this. It's very unsexy long term, especially where you get your tattoos. You understand me, bro? You should not be getting no T tattoos, and when you get older, that junk's gonna sag to the point that the shape of the tattoo is gonna look as big as your boob. Let's keep 100. But
Very much so. It's not ladylike, man.
yeah.
And when we kindly, a lot of times, we kindly tell our ladies this, we get a bunch of passive aggressive, well, y'all shaming black women. It goes back to the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't we why can't we actually correct black women's behavior or their disingenuous comments? I was on
Mm-hmm.
Facebook 15 minutes ago and a woman
Mm-hmm.
said, nobody wants a black man over 33. He's past his prime.
Who
Okay, I
said?
had to tell you. There's some scallywag who's
How old was she?
who's she's old. Like she's probably as
Okay.
old as I am.
Okay.
And I have to say this much. Number one, men are fine in cognacs. We get better with age. Women age like milk. You're rock stars from 15 to 30,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 35 if you're like an 8 or above.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I had to bring it down to one female sister, a very beautiful sister. I said, this is what you got to understand. You're not a man. Men at 35 start hitting their economic or financial prime.
Mm-hmm.
If you work out from 18, you still keep a lot of your physical traits in your 30s, 40s, and 50s.
Mm-hmm.
You, when a woman has a baby, that takes a tremendous toll on her body. You have to constantly be in check with that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So when you have something that's going against the narrative, and excuse me, it reminds me when I had to listen. A lot of these chicks out here are saying shit that's just purely disingenuous. They believe a stereotype. Oh, these men are just ashy beta male coons. What the fuck is a beta male coon?
When I heard about that, bro, for the last 2 years, maybe three, I would say maybe two. And then when you challenge the person that created this, there was no pushback. I think there was almost crickets. Think about it. Because now say you have to stand on your sword. We know most people don't carry swords. Basically, that's the only man thing. So, okay, what is this? What's the opposite? Oh, you don't know? I tell you, me. Fuck what you heard. Like you said, Charles. That I don't have no definition even to my vocabulary of what that is in my camp. Especially people that are considered dusty. And let's go further about the word dusty. For most people that, or most women that use this term dusty, like the good brother Mr. Samuel said, are you a sweeper? Because to get rid of dust, you gotta sweep and clean off the dust, right? And since you're attracting so much dust, you must be a swiffer. Let's keep it 100. What's it?
Let's be reasonable. A hardworking man is a very dusty one.
Mm-hmm.
A very valuable man is a man who's not afraid to get down and dirty.
What's wrong with dust? Should be the biggest question, bro. Isn't it dust in dust we trust? So you
Exactly.
tell me, so you tell me you want a clean Negro, a pretty Negro, the one
You
that
want,
gets hurt when he touched a piece of metal. Say, "Oh, ouch!" That's what
like I
you
want
want.
like do me a favor. I want to know how many females we have in the chat. If you're a female in the chat, press the one button, please. How many females want a guy that's rugged? That you know if the fucking apocalypse happened, if the Russians invade, if China invades, if the zombie apocalypse happened, you want a guy that can just go through the mud and pull you and the family by his teeth through the fucking English Channel if necessary. Or do you want some pretty boy who spends more time in the mirror than you? So
Mm-hmm.
which one is it? Because when I was in the military, I'm a sharp brother. You can see from some of the pictures, especially if you're my Facebook and Instagram friend.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I'm the same dude who will go through an alley, end up streets of Baltimore, who will go through a dusty town in Fallujah, who will go through a jungle knee deep in swamp water with a rifle in his hand. But yet, we forgot that in dust we trust. But yet, going back to the narrative, if we're the ones who's supposed to be combative and fighting on your behalf, why must you be so combative towards us?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when we're looking out for your better environment, your better being.
Mm-hmm.
It's confusing. Like I'll go to channels and I'll just watch in great amazement. Like like it's one of my early videos. Like, have we forsaken femininity?
Mm-hmm.
Is it a farce?
Mm-hmm.
Is everything that we brought up and we pulled dear with our sound beliefs how women are supposed to be, these sweet creatures, is it a lie?
Mm-hmm. Not lie.
Is it some subterfuge going on? We can't
Mm-hmm.
get a man. Are you competing to get a man? Are you competing with a man? There's a difference.
A huge difference. And a lot of women in our communities love and indulge to compete against the men in the community. They love it, bro.
And that's the biggest loss. It's like I told one lady, your mother failed you. It's no different if I tell a guy, if he's whining about being a man, your father failed you.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, how many times have we seen women refuse to get help, refuse to take the advice of men? I had to take, a back step when I tried to give a female coworker advice on dating. You're going to take advice from your damn near almost man hating friends on what attracts a man versus what an actual man is telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't make it up. If I
I
had the if I had the imagination of Jerry Schuster, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby, I could even make this shit up.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you could. Why are you taking advice from people that are anti-male? What's up, Judge? Woo. Still got love for you for being a Cleveland fan, but you still a boy. But yet, you're going to be combative in so many ways. You're going to give me that passive aggressive bullshit. I'm not arguing with you, but why does it have to be a but? Why
Yeah.
can't you take sound advice? But you'll take advice from women, and and little boys learn very quickly. You don't believe what a woman says; you believe what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't women take that same advice?
Is it in their nature, bro, to take advice?
It's either in their nature or it's in their programming.
It's one
That
or the
may be another panel to be to be really researched. And
other.
I think they take black male authority or advice the least
Mm-hmm.
due to that programming.
Mm-hmm.
We love our men. No, you love us the same way you would love a pet.
Mm-hmm.
You love us as long as we're doing your bidding.
Right.
You love us as long as you benefit. But as soon as I make a decision that's contrary to what you believe, not what you think, but what you believe, boom,
Mm-hmm.
here comes the combat. I mean, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, and Tekken has less combative nature than what you see on these YouTube streets in reality.
I think I've seen worse, bro, but this almost fights. Um, One thing I want to add on is I'm not sure if a lot of black, and I'll be honest with you, bro, because I know a few one chick I was gonna be close with, and I asked her this general question: why you have female friends? And her logical reason is because either female friends don't like her, or she just don't like being around certain women. And it makes me want to say, in certain society we live in, it's either the front side or reverse. What I mean, there are some women in their own groups that are friends with other women, and they get listen and take advice of other women that's in the same boat and direction as them. Some of them not even married, but giving advice about men. And as time dwindles, you're looking at the danger zone, which then ends up to be the wall, and that ends where you are out of here. You get me?
Oh yeah.
And I find it very interesting that you as a woman that you're a certain age now, you find in your life you want to be married, and you know you don't have time to waste, especially as a sister. My biggest question: why are you still fucking with these bitches? These bitches are not telling you anything inspiring, or even themselves getting the man of what they want and marry. Your circle should be cut off. So to be honest with you, to be simple, I can understand why the chick I knew don't have female friends. You know where she at now, bro?
Where?
She now is married.
Yeah.
And mind you, all the things I've been telling her, she start to really. And mind, she was very lucky because she's not a skinny dude. She packed on a lot of weight. So for her to get a man that the man, I think the man is like in his 40s, and he decided now to put a ring on it. You are very blessed. You're lucky. It won't now apply to all you women. There's no exception to the rule.
Yeah.
The reason why she got this dude is because she went into another state where the competition is stiff, and she put herself in a certain position, and she has a kid too.
Oh, so
But
she was fighting the eight ball, huh?
well, yeah. Well, let me tell you something. She's already in the danger zone. She's not 30 yet until another 2 years.
Oh man, shout out to Kevin Samuels. Cute Kenny Loggins.
At the end of the day, if you really want to be serious and be a wife, whether you guys just stay home or you go cope or where you work and stuff, the clock is ticking. You better act now. And one of the few things that's going to accelerate this process is you're going to cut off those wildebeest females of friends of yours fast, because misery does want company, and other women look at you as competition. Next one.
And it's not just that. You got to really look in your heart of hearts, right?
Yeah.
And you have to understand that one of the biggest flaws when it comes to choosing a mate for a lot of women, and this goes for all women across the board, it's almost like a refusal to get the guy okay by your father. When you start understanding and you start investigating a woman you want to date, see how close she's to her father. See how she respects her father. And that's usually a very good indicator of how she's going to view and respect you.
I agree.
Ooh, what's up, Josh?
I totally agree, bro. I totally agree, because now it's been evident a few women that called in to this first channel. Um, before I say this, have you noticed, bro, that a lot of women that are looking at a man and try to get married come from two-parent households? Some of these women. Have you noticed that shit?
Yeah.
So you tell me you can't seek and have actual sit down talk with your own father? I know why. Because 9 10 times either your father was a beta, or or your father was that patriarch man that you don't want to take no instructions. Period. So you're gonna say I'm gonna go be disobedient. Keep fucking around like that and see what happens in your life.
And it's not just that. Oh yeah, by the way, like, share, and subscribe.
Oh yes, please.
Cash Cash App if you like what you're hearing. Support your
Yeah,
interest.
yeah. If you're in the stream, please like and share this video, please. Thank you.
And get the likes up, get the likes up, get the likes up.
Mm-hmm.
See, let's break this down for a minute. Too many of these females are in houses where father might be there, but he can't make a decision. He's what you call a figurehead. He's only the king in title only. You know, I want to go back to what Judge said, which was very telltale signs. By Nicki Minaj said 100 motherfuckers couldn't tell them nothing. She was so right. This is the reason why. This is the reason why nobody can tell you anything. Because you're not able to receive information or advice. And notice this also. You get a lot of the educated people who regurgitate information but cannot comprehend it nor put it in functional use. So when you have this, oh, I want to be married, say to yourself, why do I need to be married? Am I going to make this man feel like Superman, or I'm going to be his kryptonite? Ooh, what's up, Josh?
What up?
How you doing, Josh?
And you got to understand this one factoid. Do you really want the guy to be king? Do you really want this guy to get all this money, pay for everything, put the kids through private school, buy you a car while he's at work with his? See, I came from this household. See, a lot of people don't even know my story. My father drove a cab 60 hours a week. And we had brand new furniture and a TV in every room. And this was the 80s. So
Wow.
I refused to hear it had two brand new cars on the street. I refused to hear black men ain't trying to work. Now,
Josh, mute your line. You have feedback. Stop interrupting the stream. Thank you. Wait, you're still clicking. You gotta mute your line, bro.
um,
Thank you. All right, go ahead, Charles. Sorry about that.
and Just when you're ready to speak, Josh, just unmute. So when you understand that black men will work, and statistically it's been proven and shown.
Yeah, my bad. I didn't even realize I was muted.
No, we just muted you because you had a little sound.
Oh
Anytime
yeah, hold on. Let
You
me.
had a little feedback, so just mute yourself till when you're ready to speak.
All right, I'll be right back. 1 second.
Okay, cool. So when you go through this whole notion that black men are not willing to work, and black men are not ready to make decisions, I piss on that notion. Now, not all men are created equal. I will definitely give you that.
Yeah.
But let's say you're not worthy to get a guy who's an 8, 9, or 10, especially if you're a 4 or you're an 8 with poor social skills. You don't deserve that type of guy.
I agree.
But what you're gonna do because you're upset with the world and you don't like to understand or listen to shit that actually goes, you want to be combative.
You
You
want to
feel
fight.
disenfranchised. You want to fight. You want to blame the fucking world instead of being a fucking competitor like men have to. If I want the most beautiful type of woman, I gotta be the best looking guy. I gotta be a classic guy. I gotta be a guy willing to put his best on the line each and every day. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah, and I have no problem with it as a man speaking from
But
just
but
for men. Yeah,
but plenty of the ladies have to do the same. You can't say like me for who I am and then expect me to take your bullshit.
you know why, Charles? Because a lot of us just have a lazy mentality. It feels it because I'm a woman. Hear me roar. I got pussy. That's just enough. I don't have to bring anything else decent to the table. That's
Exactly.
no, that is wrong. You have to bring something tangible because you're trying to compete for a small percentage of the pool of men in the society, especially black men. You get me?
What's up, Judge?
So I want to hear that, Judge.
How's it going?
I know, Judge.
All right, I'm
Yeah,
back.
yeah,
And see, the craziest part about it is, and women can come up on the panel too as well. We don't.
yeah. You're
What's
right.
up, Crystal?
Yeah.
We don't know. But anybody else want to add to the point?
Just came in.
Well, what I've always noticed is this. But I say I've noticed it with everything. It doesn't even matter. It's like it could be friends from long, that you've known for years. It's like a lot of times it's been indoctrinated in them so long where it's like I've heard them say, "Oh yeah, when it comes to working on the house, I'm gonna call and ask for your advice, or have this, that, and the other." And then because they ain't never done this type of shit. But then it's like then you'll still see them try to still tell you what to do. I think it's just like underlying with them anyway, and it's just something about them not. If it's something that they can't control, it's a problem. It's like I think that they have this thing to in their mind to if they're not calling every fucking shot and controlling everything, it's a problem. And I'm not even gonna lie, man.
Yeah. What about you, Josh?
Yeah,
Hold on 1 second,
it's
bro.
just you sit there and it's just like why does everything have to be, everything's got to be a fucking debate and got to be so combative. And it's like everything's a fucking chore. You know what I mean?
That's
Very
because they
much.
don't want to be told that they're wrong.
Say that again.
I said it's because they don't want to
No,
be
I'm
told
just
that
saying,
they're
right?
wrong.
Everything. Yeah, not even that, but it doesn't even have to be. It don't even have to be a right or wrong. It could be just a left or right issue. You know what I mean? You're
Oh
both
yeah.
going. It's just like it's like they gotta just I'm telling you, I said it and I realized I sit there and say sometimes I see why y'all motherfuckers ain't productive when it comes to when it's just all y'all. Everything's a fucking competition and just be like where the guys come together, hey man, what we gonna do? We gonna do this like, we working in a group of guys, say we doing whatever, we gotta get this done. All right, what we gonna do? Do this, all right, what's your idea? All right, cool. Matter of fact, you're right, we going that way. It's like with them, it's like a competition to see which idea, or three guys can come together, have three different opinions. They all say their opinion, and then be like, you know what, we're gonna do it A's way, and it ain't no
Right.
hard feeling because we did it A, we chose A instead of B, It ain't no hard feelings. It's just okay. That's why That's why I look around a lot of times. It's like that's why y'all motherfuckers can't get shit accomplished because everything's a
Right.
fucking competition. I mean,
Then a chick, she'll look at the next female and be like, "Oh, she looked at me wrong. I don't like that bitch."
oh
Mhm.
yes. But
Oh
I
yeah.
think that's why I said put.
Oh, that's the classic right there, man. It reminds me of the show Survivor when they had the men versus the females. Like, somebody was trying to fucking prop up some feminazi bullshit, and they were noticing that the men were building shelters, they were hunting, they were fishing, they were doing what they needed to do to survive. Even if the men didn't like each other, they just said, you know what, I need this guy, and him being with us and working together is
Hmm.
going to maximize the efficiency of our survival. You know what the women?
Hmm.
Guess what the women did on the show? Sat on their
Fight.
asses looking for help. They were frustrated. They were
Mhm.
frustrated. And I'm not saying women are bad, but it's like, why the competitive? Why combative? If we're looking out for you and trying to protect you, and see, a lot of times they don't understand that protection is also listening to sound advice.
Yep.
As my deceased wrestling coach, may he rest in power, peace, and paradise,
Mhm.
Larry Brown would say, sometimes the best reversal is never to get in the hold in the first place.
Yep.
And how many of them like to jump straight in to destructive relationships because the guy makes them wet? Just admit it. See, we're okay with that. Say what type of guys you like, so we can either date you or avoid you.
Mhm.
I mean, that's what's so bad is if you see, like the men, we know the pecking order. Well, it's like we know pecking order. We know that if somebody say if a woman only dates guys that can bench 300 pounds, you don't hear the people that can only bench 150 talking about man. We don't, man. That's what we don't know. You understand what I'm saying? Well, well, women they'll look at it and say, well, it shouldn't matter. Or we feel like all of us should get the same type of treatment. Well, we know it's just not that way. Right? We realize there's a
Right.
pecking order, and we realize that life ain't fair. There's gonna be some women that wouldn't give St. Charles the time of day, but would give me the time of day. And there'll be some women that would give me the time of day, wouldn't give him the time of day.
And
We know
I'm
that.
glad you said that. Let me piggyback off of what you just said because I had a conversation like this with my girl the other day, and I asked her. I said, give me your ideal perfect man as far as image, and she said, yeah, she replied. She said probably tall. She was like tall and muscular, right? I'm not tall, and the damn sure ain't muscular, but she was like the one thing that drew her to me was the fact that I'm funny. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So it's not always it's not always one thing because a female can dream big on a dude and then go totally left. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely. Well,
And
I mean,
by the
think
way,
about it. If we had,
thank you TSP Tribe for the $20 cash app. Thank you. So blessed. Continue, fellas.
Yep.
but I mean, like, look at it. If you ever even notice, even when we do the list on what they want and what we want, I mean, no offense, it's like 70% of the women can come in there and fill any position for most men. Where when women say their position, that'd probably only be 10% of the men. Most of us we realize, well, girlfriend may not be that guy had the highest IQ, but she makes me laugh. She's funny. She can take care of home. This, that, and the other. We understand it's compromise and give and take. They don't understand that.
I want y'all to read what Linda said. I taught my only daughter to compete. She lives in Singapore, married 16 years with citizenship. That's what the hell I'm talking about. Be
Mm-hmm.
a winner. So, being a winner. That's called winning. You don't see her gallivanting around looking for a dude struggling. No, she's winning. That's called a winner. You know, it gets to the point where I've always given the same advice to women. Don't fuck up your good years. The years where you're going to be the most beautiful, the most moldable. You don't want to be too old not to be molded. Well, how do I know this guy is the right guy for me? That's why you have a father. That's why you have a grandfather. But what do women usually do? Hide the men they're dating away from their fathers because they know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I look at
But
it that they give each
you know,
other
brother.
bad advice because I'm not even gonna lie. They sit up here and talk and give. I think that a lot of times they give each other bad advice because they know that half the time one of their girls would go ahead and take their man if they had in a heartbeat. You know,
Yeah.
like
So
how many guys have dated somebody? So you dated a girl and her girl didn't like you, but then like you bump into the girl somewhere, whatever, and they acting like everything is cool. Where if you was trying to really get with them, you probably could have got their number that day.
uh, I went through similar shit like that. I went
Mm-hmm.
to work with a certain somebody who, because of her friends, and at the time her friends were single as the number one,
Hmm.
and they threw all kinds of monkey wrenches in our relationship, and it's been strained.
And those were the same chronically single friends.
Yep, and Josh knows them. We're not going to name names because we're from the home of not snitching, but Josh knows where I'm getting at.
Right, but those be the same chicks that be chronically single, but yet they ride in the proverbial cock carousel
Exactly.
and
Here's
playing every
another.
dude that they get.
Here's another question I want to
Uh,
ask the panel. Do you still believe femininity is on the forefront, or is it becoming an endangered species?
endangered.
Feminism is definitely killing the relationship game. I'll tell you that much.
Because I really think it's an endangered species right now, due to due to they view it as a weakness, as a sign of weakness to cook for a man, to
Mhm.
take care of kids, to get married while you're young. Like, if men don't care about your money and they don't care about your education, what are your soft skills?
But that's the thing. It's not about that. It's not about being feminine and doing things for your man and getting stuff in return. It's about control. Why do you think so many females, even especially like around YouTube and all these other social media outlets, crap on men so much, especially black men? That's the problem we have now in the black community. Is we get black men are shitting on so hard because you got females that date that 1% of crappy men and not ever given a chance to a dude that that'll treat them right.
What's up, Nigerian nurse?
Mhm.
See, see, you gotta understand. It's like that
I don't
kid.
even think it's. Uh, but
It's like that kid who always wants to touch that burning stove or stick that fork into the electrical socket. As the parents say, you won't believe shit stinks till you fall on it face first. Like,
Mhm.
I could change him. And then you find out later, and shout out to BGS for the video he did on it, the reason why they don't like nice guys. Because you can't blame shit on him. You have to wake up and say, you know what? I think I fucked up. I mean, Insecure should be fucking shown in colleges as a case study.
Oh yeah,
I fucked up.
bro, that's my favorite show on TV. Charles will tell you that's my favorite show
I don't
on TV
watch.
because
I
it
don't watch
shows the
it.
realism. It shows the realism of millennial relationships, and I'm a
It's it's
millennial, so
it,
I
it,
can
it,
relate
it's
to that show.
it's the case when you look at Issa when it comes to Lawrence. Yeah, Lawrence should have been motivated, but god damn it, it was Issa's job to motivate him. Do your women inspire you? Did she made him feel like Superman or Kryptonite? She shitted on him.
Nope. She just instead of her motivating him, she was quick to go cheat on him with the rapper or the producer, I should say.
See, it's because it's just like shout out to once again another shout out to Alan Roger Terry when he said the possibility of sex. It's the possibility of a relationship they chase, not the actual relationship itself.
Yeah, the idea of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So
Any
when
female will tell you that they want to be married and have kids. They'll tell you that in a heartbeat. But it's like you say, Charles. Don't watch what they say. Look at what they do.
yeah, and the last time I checked, I'm only good at I can use we can use the fucking scientific method. I mean, Nicole Ali is a scientist. Ask her. She'll tell you to break it down. I've even asked her if this is what you do to this step, to this step, to this step, and she was like, "You're absolutely right." So when you go out and you look at this combative nature, and then women come and say, "We're not all like that," okay, prove it. See,
Well, I mean, one of the things is you ever think about like the stuff that they look at and the stuff that they try to throw up as value. It's like, do you realize that, 90% of that shit ain't on a man's radar? Like, I couldn't tell you, like, I would have to sit back and think hard to think about every girl I've dated, how much money they make. Now, if you ask me what was their best dishes they could cook, oh, I could just right
Oh
off
word.
some
Oh
things.
word.
yeah,
Right. You know what I'm talking about?
But
That
that's
goes
a
to show you what was more important. I couldn't tell you how much money she make, but I can tell you how good
but
she can
see
make some pork chops.
but see that's the difference between men and women. Women are gonna look for what's in a man's pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like men, we don't care. Like we'll date a chick that work at a Fortune 500 company, and we'll also date a chick that works at McDonald's. Hell, we'll date a chick that's unemployed.
Well, there's no restrictions to in which one we pick. Josh. As long as say, she looks kind of good. She looks like something. Let me check out.
Exactly.
Well, we're more open. No, we're more open to
Exactly.
accept their shortcomings
Yeah,
and all
right.
like that. We understand that not every woman gonna be the beauty queen, or not every woman. Because
Hmm.
I've dated some women that can't cook. They food is just okay. I
Right.
mean, but we more open to say that women they don't bend as much as we do. I mean, like
they
literally,
have.
if we had standards, I ain't gonna lie. If we had standards like they did, oh shit, the human race would be destroyed.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah.
If yeah, let me break it. Let me break that down to what you just said. I don't know how many years I've said this. Black men are the garbage men of the dating world, and it's our fault because we're taught to be so thirsty. We
Yeah.
value, oh, if we can't make her come, we ain't shit. How many times we didn't come? Shit, goddamn.
Right.
What if we said we're not dating any chicks that is above a size 6? Do you know how many
Oh shit,
black
man.
women will be fucking out of luck? Because guess what? All other races of men have them, but then they complain about you can't find a black man. Why do you think Becky, Consuela, and Chung Li are getting your men? Because they're the most agreeable. They don't have
Well,
the
not even the fact.
culture.
But not even the fact of that. But think about it. And they say, oh, yeah, a black guy get here and he'll get with a white girl who's busted down. But one thing you say, white girl might be busted down, but she treat him like a king. And
Yeah,
Exactly.
sometimes
Because
I
you know
said, you
what.
don't realize something. Me and we think logically. Wait a minute, I can come
Right.
home and my energy will be used to better my family instead of fighting over what side the refrigerator needs to be on. You know what I mean? I mean,
Exactly.
over dumb
Exactly.
shit. We waste way. We men look at it as all this wasted energy and effort for nothing.
Yep.
and
Yeah.
it goes back into like, thank you, Linda Addison. Love equals consistency. Are you fucking consistent? Like, I don't want to come into the house wondering if I got to deal with a fucking psych patient. I got an emergency petition. It's no
Keep it
different
up.
than a woman coming into the house. She doesn't want to deal with a guy whooping her ass.
Hmm.
So
Right.
it's
And we damn sure don't want to deal with females that's gonna sit there and tell us what they're not gonna do.
Yeah, I agree.
so you're looking at it like, okay, are you combative because your expectations of men are unrealistic? Are you combative because you were never brought up to respect male authority and decision making? Or are you combative because you have to be forced to look at the wall
Yeah.
and notice that if you don't change your ways, you're going to be sentenced to relationship hell for all eternity.
Yeah. Why do you think when
But
females get to that 30s, that 30-year-old stage, and they be like, oh shit, my biological clock is ticking, I gotta go find a man real quick.
well, it's
Y'all
not
take,
even the fact of
y'all
that.
talking about. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up.
You
All right,
can't
go ahead.
I
you
got to
can't
post this.
escape that.
You're talking about the racist white woman. No, see, people fail to understand what's being said. We're talking about why brothers went that way. Most brothers don't want to date interracially. Hell, even the brothers who date interracially still prefer black women.
Bro, I tell you straight up,
Exactly.
I've tried it, and it doesn't work for me. Like, I've tried dating white women. It's just not something that I want to do. I love my chocolate women, but they got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
They got to do better.
Mm-hmm.
See, the problem is this: when a black woman goes outside of her race, she's applauded. And who's committed
Yeah.
more atrocities of racism than white men historically? I'm not picking on white men. I have some white friends, but historically, I even told them historically, why the fuck you think the whole world's pissed with y'all? Because everywhere you
Mm-hmm.
fucking came in contact with somebody, you tried to enslave them or or commit genocide against them.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it, when a black man goes outside of his race, he's a traitor. Why? Because you're going to shame him to staying somewhere where you reject him. Let's look at let's look at my other case study. You may laugh, but let's look at Family Matters.
Mm.
Everybody hated Urkel until Urkel had to do something for them.
Yep.
And then
Yep.
when Steve actually got a chick, who by the way look 100 times better than Laura did. Jesus, Myra, rest in peace, girl. You were fine as hell.
Hmm.
Who loved
Yep.
him for him. It's what I like to call the Lois Lane versus the Wonder Woman. See, Lois Lane was in love with the imagery and all the prestige of being with Superman. Wonder Woman loved Clark.
Hmm.
And that's what the same scenario was between Myra and Laura. The only reason she wanted Steve around is when he could do something. And then, if you ever noticed during the show, she only wanted him because he was with a better class of woman, a higher scale woman than she was.
Exactly.
Oh,
But
Mm-hmm.
you notice that's why they turned Myra into a psychopath once she got a fan following and people started to wake up and was like, okay, maybe Myra is the better choice for Steve. There's like there's like the writers like we need to turn her
Yeah,
crazy.
and
Get rid of her.
you could tell that's
But
what
you
the
know,
image
you brought
of
it up.
family members.
Mhm. Charles. I did a stream on this last year about the Steve Urkel effect, and I went in on the FAMAS reunion they had like years ago, 2 years ago, and I never went in the depths of the Myra and the Laura syndrome, or the separation between these two women, and it shows the characteristics of two sisters and this one black man. This what they call sexually awkward, this so-called non-select. But he was actually good, bro. That's he got the one that is the finest one, and got the one that is the ghetto one, in a
Yeah,
sense. Smart, but
and,
and she's supposed to be a lawyer.
yeah.
Imagine that.
And the craziest thing about it, right? When he found somebody who loved him for not what he can do, but who he was, and not what he
Right.
could do for them, that's when Laura started paying him attention. Sounds familiar to a lot of guys listening. So
Mm,
when it boils down to it, you have a lot of these guys out there chasing women that really don't want to be chased. But when you find a woman that's down for you in your program, watch the women who don't chase you come.
Right.
I had a friend, a coworker, who was going through some shit, and what he looked at was this: women try to sabotage him. Guess what happened? More women, more women have came and said, "Well, wait a minute. What happened with you? That doesn't deal with me and his dealings."
mhm.
Because guess what? Women love a man that somebody else values.
Yep.
So
That's
you're
true.
competitive. You're competitive only against each other, but you're not competitive for to get the man you want. It's
Mm-hmm.
this: if I can't have him, nobody will.
Yep.
See,
Right.
black men and black women are using the same excuse to date out. See, I personally, I'm not into interracial dating, but if a person do it, I'm not gonna dick or pussy police.
Yeah.
Here it is. What's the number one? I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you, bro, in the comments. What's the number one? What's the number one rule of dating and mating? I want you to give me the answer. Just type in the answer. What's the number one rule of dating and mating?
We'll wait. And as we wait, we'll take a brief commercial. For those that's listening, this is the Charles Faulkner late night edition. One of few many. Normally I'll be doing it, but Mr. Charles Faulkner feel it's important to have this discussion. Because like always, I watch much content, and I feel through what the women want and they ask for. At the end of the day, they come go seek that black man, the same black man that they so hate for advice, for guidance, because it's that father figure that they never had. I'm gonna tell most women this: when you see Mr. Samuels, you better kiss the Godfather's ring. Matter
You
of fact,
better,
you better. I'll find the thing on tape.
you better pray. All I gotta do, all you gotta do is wait a minute for this commercial break. Chaos, hit the theme music.
Which one? Oh, okay.
Woo.
Yeah, that's right. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I got you.
Gonna give everybody hit the likes up. Hit the cash app. If you do so inclined, support your interests, and definitely your interests will support you. For those who want to give up ideas for the next few live streams, you can hit me at Charles Faulkner Jr. 1224 at yahoo.com.
Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact,
And if you
Charles,
want to,
can you send me that through the book or email that your other email so I can post in the chat room?
okay.
So, yeah. Yeah, so like I said, and to people that know that when me and Charles did the Q&A, we'll probably think about which day of the week we'll do that for those who have questions. It's not gonna be every day, but it should be something sometime during the week we lay out. I think it was helpful for those that ask the serious questions from Mr. Faulkner. So we'll do that more often. We gotta pick a good day. So anyway, to the ladies, like always, if nothing you have learned from the men in this space, know this: we do expect better from y'all, just like as most black men, we expect better from ourselves. You know, if you want some, you have to do something different. As much times y'all don't want to hear it from the men in this space, you're gonna have to compete. I
Hold
know
up,
that.
brother.
Go ahead.
Hold on, excuse me for a minute. I don't put dating and mating together. Yes, you have to. What's the number one rule when it comes to dating and mating? Just answer the question. Stop deflecting. Just answer the question. It's a simple question. What's the number one rule when it comes to dating and mating? Please continue, please.
Yeah. You're gonna compete, ladies, and if you're not willing to put yourself on the table in that competition with other groups of women, then the pool of men that you're wanting or you feel that you deserve is very limited. Matter of fact, it's not limited, it's less. And the older you get, the lesser the men are. That's going to be able to give you not only what you want, but give you something long term. And temporary romance doesn't lead to anything greater at the end. Just like that one chick that's, I think she's in her early 20s, how she was sitting there messing around with a very much older black man. And even the older black man did not even go out his way to marry you. And you go as far as you hid that from your father for a couple years. That tells me, as a man, you have very much still respect for your own father. Now, mind you, I'm not sure anybody has daughters on this panel. I mean, I don't have no daughters or anything like that. But let me find my own seed goes out behind me and dates a man And you're not even go as far as to bring to let me know who he is, so I can see what type of man he is, what caliber of man he is. Make you look you in the eye and tell you if you should continue messing with this dude or not. Because men know who to at the end of the day.
See, you
So that
gotta
we have,
understand.
yeah.
Go ahead, finish your statement, and then I'll say.
And because I men no, we tell you personally, one thing as any man, either your father is a player or not, he doesn't want you mess around with the same dude that like himself with women because he wants better for you. He expects better from you. He wants you to have that at least that one man that's can provide and protect for you and have children with. So that way he knows that you're in good hands with this man that you pick. And we all know a lot of women are not good pickers of men. So if you think you're gonna go in this world at a young age and figure it out, you're gonna be wasting 5 or 6 years of your life. You're gonna be at that age where you know that clock will be ticking. Your brain is gonna start develop to a point where you now gonna take things serious. Like a lot of human beings. Usually, a lot of human beings, we're gonna reach that full development or in regards to our thinking, age 27, 28. So if you're not at that age now starting to think about it, you are way behind. That's why even with Mr. Samuels, any man will tell you the best chance you get is you could get the man and he marries you at a very young age as possible. You know, that's the highest value you're going to get even the top tier men, bro. And not only that, you have to be put yourself in position in certain regions of this country, put yourself in front of these top tier men. These men just don't come out of nowhere on your lap. You have to put in work, baby girl. Just like other races of women put in the work. Have you ever remember the movie Get Out?
Yeah.
That was not even 25 years old. These are open up one and the top tier men. And you see before those black men. That's entertainment average because she wants to be provided and be that stay-at-home wife. So the mindset has to be changed for a lot of women. That's all I'm saying. Go ahead, Charles.
I was gonna say this. Since I didn't get my answer, I'll give you the answer. The number one rule when it comes to dating and mating is proximity. Yeah, date, marry, and fuck who's closest to you. Straight up and
Mm-hmm.
straight back. So if you're raising your kids out in the suburbs and it's only what, 15% black and 85% white, guess who your son or daughter is more likely to date? Because they
Exactly.
so a lot of shit is just because they're in proximity of such. Not saying I agree with it all. To who does it does. My preference is black women, but I'm not knocking the next person. If they find love and happiness with somebody else, that's on them. So, anybody wants to come on the chat and have an issue or something to add to what I got to say?
Or
I'm
matter
on
of fact,
board.
let's become better, Charles. The guy that posted that comment, brother, take the link and come on and explain yourself better. You know, because being in a chat room, you don't get much of what you're trying to get at. So it's better to express yourself as any other man with other men. Well, what the hell is saying not working? One second, guys. I'm trying to. There we go. All right. Yeah. So, that's Charles. Wait. So, Josh, where you from? I don't know if this person I see you on the YouTube.
I'm from New York originally, but I came out here to Baltimore about 13 years ago, and
Okay.
I pretty much met Charles through the job. I'm police officer too, so been working with him for let's see, like 3 years. But I've been a cop for about 7.
Oh, have I talked to you before when on the phone line?
I don't think
Oh,
on
yeah.
the stream, but I think like like on a phone call we 3-way before.
Okay. Okay. That's what's up. Cool.
See. Oh, yeah, Josh. You know, sometimes we're like Laurel and Hardy, we're like Power Man and Iron Fist, Batman, Superman, Blue Beetle,
Oh,
and Booster Gold. So we have funny little adventures sometimes. See, see, a lot of times you got to look at it, right? Going off the subject, if women really want to get married, why don't they show the feminine side first? You know, hey, I can cook, I can clean. I'm a little crazy. You know, most men will be like, "Oh, we know you're all crazy, but it's the amount of crazy we're willing to deal with." But just like every man got shit with them, so it's kind of like I want to be married, but I want to live my life first. I'm like, you can't get everything you want. You can't have about 25 to 50 bodies on your belt and then think you're going to be still sold at prime real estate prices.
right.
Here we go. Yeah, come up on the stream. Click the StreamYards link. Why not just build your neighborhood up and make it your suburbia? Well, are we going by the average black person?
I know.
Because
I
we
was
don't.
looking at that. I'm like,
Because
a
we
lot
don't.
of black folk can't stick together. That's why that's not gonna happen.
Number one, let's look at it. Let's look at it, right? If we having a problem of getting black women married to black men, and it's mostly because of their attitude, their weight, their lack of support, and their fucking dispositions, how the hell can we build a fucking society when the smallest unit, which is the family, if you're going by military standards, which is the family, the smallest unit, is out of whack?
Right.
You got to deal with the education because a lot of sisters are educated, how they're indoctrinated with feminism. Now, how many brothers have tried this and are doing it now, and it's still difficult? Because number one, how many black men are working? Because when jobs are given inside the country, are black men number one priority?
Nope.
Not at all.
I've said this to a lot of educated sisters who got preference on their jobs. I had one sister say, "Well, if I had to be a police officer, they would hire you before me." Bullshit! You're a double minority, sister. They killed two birds with one stone with your black ass. See, that's how you know this. People don't know what the hell they talking about. So you can come on the panel and explain it. Like, tell me, how are we going to build a better society when we can't even get each other to even want to be married? You got too many people who look at marriage like, I'm going to wait till I'm 35 to get married. And for a woman, that's not the prime for her to have children, is it?
Hell no.
No, man, that she's on the red. Actually, bro, she's in the red. If you went for up to age, but now you're a super red.
So I want you to really answer this. That's why I want you to come on the panel so we can have a conversation real time. Is that waiting till 35, 40 for a woman when she's ready to settle down, is that the best way to build a family? Is that the most optimal? Is that the most efficient?
Well,
Waiting.
I'd say hell. I'd
I'll
say
post
hell
it
no,
again.
because what's the value in that? Because for me, I know I'd look at a chick that's like 35 and over, be like, okay, I'm ready to settle down. Okay, you're done with your thought years,
So you
perhaps,
just,
and now you're ready to settle down after all of that, all of them fun days is over.
so let
Like,
me ask
no.
you this: in that black suburb, I live in Baltimore. Baltimore 70% black. Do we have a lot of black suburbias? No. So out of those households, are they getting married young or are they getting married when they're damn near 35, 40? Which one is it? Hold up, Trinity. See, the problem is this. This is what the problem it is. And I can't even just beat up on the black women because I don't even beat up on black women. But I got to tell the truth about the black community. The black community do not like the truth.
No, they don't.
And I'm not even disrespecting the brother because he has the right to his opinion. And I'm yet to disrespect him, but I just want him to come up over here and please explain to me, how are we going to build this up when a lot of black brothers are not even fucking working? Hell, a lot of sisters aren't even working right now because of the coronavirus. I had an ex-girlfriend who's the director of a learning center complain about her 20-year-old son finding a job, but this motherfucker was out of a job for 2 months.
Mm.
Hell, probably longer than that because of Corona. And she had to take a job where she took a $10,000 pay cut just to be working. But don't tell me bullshit, but you can't smell your own shit. And that's the same thing. Because guess what? Are people getting married and getting those families when they're young or when they get older?
Older.
Much older.
Wait. Run that question again.
Are people getting married? Are people getting married to start families? Is it optimal to start it when you're younger or older? Especially for the women.
Well, if we're talking about marriage insurance, the best time to do it and get it out the way before you hit your mid early 40s at
What's that kind of like?
at 20 years old. Around your 20s. My fault. Your 20s. Because think about this. And I know people really understand this. Once you have kids in your 20s, right? That's one, right? Let's do the math, bro. Now your children, before they reach so-called adulthood, is 18 years of age. So if you have kids like around 23, your children will not be adults until like 41 or so. So that means depending how many kids you have, your kids will be grown and possibly staying with you or out of here or whatever by the time you're in your mid or late 40s. You get me?
Exactly.
So that means you have enough time, depending if you're married to enjoy the fruits of life on the average as a woman. Now you have them older, you gotta do the math. The older, the longer for them to develop into adults. You know?
Okay, we gotta see this. We pretty birds. You're gonna have to come
Think about Charles.
You're gonna have to come on the panel, man. We preach marriage, but you're after you need to take care of yourself financially first. Let me ask you this question, and I want you to come on the panel. Because here it is, right? It's the same bullshit with Marcus Houston when he found a 19-year-old who's the same age as I am, 38.
Can anybody hear Charles?
Can you hear
me? He's kind of low.
Yeah, you got. Yeah, if you want to come out and come back in, because they can barely hear you, just for the sake of the conversation. All right. What's good, Sean?
Hey, how you doing?
Well, I'm back and I'm black.
All right.
You're still low.
All right, go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
but it's kind
There
of.
you go. That's better.
I'm gonna say this. Okay, with Marcus Houston and everybody had the bullshit. Oh, she's 19. Is she gonna find a better man than Marcus Houston?
Nope.
When she's at her most beautiful, when she's at her most fertile, when she's at her most cooperative, when she's at her most moldable, when she's willing to learn. And thank you for the cash app again, Trinity.
Oh, no problem.
So this is my thing. I'm trying to coach women and cheer them on not to waste those years. If you got a 38-year-old, which is not a big gap, because historically older men marry younger women because you're valued on your fertility, you're valued on your loyalty, you're valued on your beauty, you're valued on your supportiveness. So is he able to provide for her? Is he able to procreate kids? Is he able to problem solve? Is he able to protect her?
Nope.
So he's able to do a lot of shit for her because he's a well-established man. But for women, and like I was telling the brother here, I'm like, look, yeah, we preach marriage, and you should be married when you're financially stable, correct? But at the same time, And we're not even getting to the ballpark, and we're not getting to the point where black men and black women are hooking up and getting together and getting married, then we're not going to have a black suburbia, are we? What does everybody think about that on the panel?
I agree.
I agree.
I agree with what you're saying.
See, we should be waiting for that, but well, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that, and again, this is just my opinion. I think that it's very smart for women to get married when they're young and solidify that family unit. However, there is another side to it, especially before women hit a certain age. And I know that a lot of people, especially women, they're going to be mad at me for saying this, but um, in our society, younger women are more valued. And the older you get, and the more experiences you have, women do tend to get bitter based on how many failed relationships they have because they put so much emotional energy into that. And so I think that it's probably smarter to go ahead and solidify that relationship while you're young and you have more options. However, the other side is, because I'm a woman, I also understand that a lot of women are afraid of getting into relationships and being vulnerable to a man because they feel like, okay, well, I'm young and I'm cute now and I'm moldable now, but as I get older, will this man still value me and respect me the way he did when I was a young whippersnapper, but now that, my boobs are drooping, everything ain't, in the same place as it used to be. And, I've dropped a couple of kids and, we see it happen every day. A man can be with a woman for 20 years, but then, his eye starts to wonder as the woman gets older, and then he's going for the young spring chicken again, because men, it's almost like they have different stages in life. So from 20 to say 35 or 40, that's one stage. From 40 to 50, that's another. And so they can, no matter what age they are, they can always upgrade. And so woman doesn't necessarily have that option as well as men do, because as men get older, like you said earlier, they're more they have better finances, they're a little bit more secure. Now a woman can secure her finances, but at the same time there's nothing that she can do about father time. And that's when the aging, you really start to see it. And we all know that men are very visual when it comes to what they're attracted to. And so I think that's why a lot of women put it in their mind, like, okay, well, at least if I go to school and I have an education, and I secure some of the things for myself, at least if the man decides to leave me, I won't fall on my back, rather than just getting put out to where I'm going to get upgraded on
I
or
agree.
traded in, but
I agree. See, I'm going to tell the brother again, get on the panel, because we're not going to do this chat talking anymore. You should not be serious until you're 35, until you're 30. Okay. Um, is that working? Is that working? Like, see, there's an old saying an old player used to tell me, man, when you break up with a chick and she wants you back, you had me when I was cheap. Now you got to pay. For a woman 35 and older, 40, you got to do more. You got to prove that all the experiences that you had do not hit you hard. Jay Sean, Wu
Right.
Tang, motherfucker, another New Yorker.
Mm.
Wu Tang, motherfucker. So you got to understand this. When I've dated women who were in their late 30s and early 40s, you had to prove a little bit more. You had to prove that you're not scorned from your last relationship. You had to be jovial. Yes, it's not fair, because guess what? For women, youth wins. Youth and beauty wins. Yes, it does. Sorry. Do we also want a woman who's as beautiful as we could possibly get, but also is supportive and also is creative and inspirational as we want? Yes. But a lot of times, if you're not putting yourself just like the men, if you're not making yourself the most competitive man, see, a man can wait till he's 30 and get the best possible mate. It's going to be harder and harder for women as the older they get. Because guess what? When we were 18 as men, we weren't rock stars. You had to be an exceptionally handsome guy, or you had to be like the captain of the football, wrestling, or basketball team. You had to be on some type of level. You had to have status.
Right.
And the average guy doesn't get his economic boom till 35.
Mm-hmm.
Guess what? Everybody's going to hit some type of wall or some type of zenith. I call it the zenith. But the hit doesn't have to be as hard. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Even for women who had a marriage and a relationship and may have a kid because of that union, it does not mean it's the end of her life. If she
Right.
kept herself up, if she has a great disposition, if she's warming, if she's someone nice to be around, guess what? You may even hurdle the wall for some women and may not see it another 10, 15, maybe 20. Oh, thank you, China White. Thank you very much, sweetheart. Woo! Let's cash that. So, a lot of people don't understand that. When, and I like how Trinity put it, how a lot of women don't understand that shit. So when you actually understand what's going on when they're mating and dating, you don't get left out in the cold. And one thing I hate to see is a lot of ladies in my generation, when we hit 40 and 50, they have no one. They're unprotected. No children. But really, I mean, this is if younger black women are listening to my channel, if I have any, listeners or viewers who are young, the best advice I could give you: look for that husband while you're in college.
Mm-hmm. Hey Charles.
You're
Hey, just to piggyback off of what you said. Prime example. Look at Vivica A. Fox. She could have been found a husband, but yet she's in her 50s. She's in midlife crisis. Got a boatload of plastic surgery on her face, but yet she's stuck on 50 Cent and goes on BET and does this and does like live streams talking about men ain't shit.
yeah,
Now it's not that men ain't shit. If she ain't shit, she's the problem.
exactly. It's no
She's the
different.
failure.
It's no different than I look at an overweight guy talking about these bitches too fat. Nigga, you got your nerve. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So when we see the women do it, you're like, really, sister? So how many times were you proposed? How many times you refused? Why you refused? Okay, now we see why you're in the shit you're in. No different
Right.
than with the dudes. Okay, you're like almost 40, still working at McDonald's. You've been working there for about 5, 6 years. You didn't want to be manager. You didn't want to try to own a franchise. You didn't want to try to find a job that's more suitable to take care of a family. Then it's on you. So a lot of it deals with people need to be realistic with themselves. You feel me, Josh?
Mm-hmm.
It's like how many times you and I have been to calls, and we'll get to a call and we have to be realistic. Hey, it's about a group of people fighting. I'm gonna need some backup. You're not gonna go in there with tombstone cards saying I'm gonna fuck all 12 of y'all up. No, you're realistic with yourself. Now bring the district.
Right. And you're not gonna also go in there thinking, "Oh, I can change them. I can use my words and get them to stop fighting." Because why they punching each other in the face? They don't give a shit what you think.
Exactly. And that's what's going on when I'm trying to explain to the brother. Look, we're trying to get black men and black women back together. Then we can start a community. If we can't get them together and say, hey, this is what we need to start a community, then that fucking black suburbia is already lost before it began.
Do you think that Black people are inherently addicted to drama?
I'd say.
Oh, I'll say this. I think we're programmed to it. Because when you take black people out of their normal urban survival, even though black people, they put us in urban environments because they want to use the experiment. That's why they call it the urban project a lot of times, the
Mm-hmm.
ghetto. And even though the word ghetto wasn't even originally for us, it was for the Jews. So they always like to experiment. We're the canaries in the coal mine. See, a lot of times we have a lot of programming. When you take away education and intellectualism away from black people or any people, period, they're gonna always hang around the lowest common denominator. They're gonna love the drama because it's entertaining,
Mm.
if it makes sense.
Yeah.
So you're gonna
And
have baby mama isms if you have a government fucking, you know, socialist plan to support that shit with between welfare, WIC, and all kinds of programs they fund. Hell, they even stole WIC from the Black Panther Party to fucking put it a part of their fucking agenda. Why
right.
do I need a man? Why do I need to respect a man and his dollar if I can just support ourselves? Women are making all this money. Then why are you so in debt?
Mm.
Black men ain't doing this. Okay. The black man ain't
That's like
doing that.
that's like how a
Let's
lot
look
of
at
chicks
this
be
problem.
like, "Well, I got a degree. Well, you still owe a shit ton of debt. So, am I banging your degree or am I banging you?"
Exactly. Are you coming on the panel, man?
Well,
Huh?
my view on beyond race on male and female relationships, just all around the board. I don't understand women who male bash and feel as though they don't need men, because that's very confusing to me, because I would never think that I didn't need a man, because what house would I live in? How would I have all these conveniences that I have afforded to me, such as the like something as little as a toaster oven. A man engineered that and made that. The microwave. I mean, every appliance that I use on a daily basis was more than any electronics were more than likely built and engineered by a man. So it's kind of funny to me when I hear women say that they don't need men, or the society be better without men. Well, I'm not trying to build any skyscrapers, so I don't know.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
uh,
Are you trying to
you
fight a
know,
war?
I'm not trying to fight any wars. I'm not trying to fight anyone.
You trying to
For
fight
for the
fires?
first, no, no, I'm not trying to put out any fires. I'm not trying to really do anything physically strenuous, to tell you the truth. But certainly not laying any bricks and mortar. So I don't understand how a woman could decide in her mind that she doesn't need a man. It's really confusing to me.
It's confusing because it goes back to what I said. You take intellectualism out of college and you put indoctrination in its place and you get feminism. You don't
Mm.
need a man because we got the government jobs and da 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 da. And then what happened with Corona? How many motherfuckers with educations are out of work right now to this day?
But not only that, the very idea of government. I mean, who created that?
Man,
So, so it's like what you're relying your feminism on was the invention of a very man. Like I don't know if you remember what I said. I think it was last year, Charles. How can you think that you're smarter than a man when you lay down and you open up your legs for a man, and then you have to go ask another man to request that the man that you laid down and opened your legs up for to pay child support, and
Facts.
then you claim that you're smarter than a man? It doesn't make any sense
it's
to me.
it's pretty asinine.
Yeah.
It's like it's instead of like I really wish that we can all raise our children like that, but the problem is we're not all going to raise our children to think of marriage because how the hell can we teach marriage when an abundance of us are not even married? Like here's the biggest problem why marriage took a nosedive in the last 20, 30 years because we're not taught to be husbands and wives.
Mm.
We're taught to be competitors against each other. No white woman and white man are competing against each other. Guess what? You ever notice every fucking white feminist is married,
Mm.
but no black feminist is married?
Right.
So
It's called
basically, feminine. So basically, the feminist movement means something completely different for white women than it does for us. But we hopped on that bandwagon thinking that we're going to get the same benefits, but they already have the benefits. So they're
Exactly. They
not
got
fighting for the
more.
same thing.
You know what
Well,
they
it's
did with the
designed
feminist.
to keep y'all brainwashed and single. That's what it is.
You know what the
Mm.
feminist movement actually did to black women? It fucked them out of having good, financially stable men. They took the jobs. They didn't even get the jobs they thought they were going to get. They got the breadcrumbs. How the fuck does a middle class to rich white woman be considered a minority? Then here's the weirdest part. You go up there and you saw with these bitches like they didn't fuck you the last 2 or 3 times prior. I think that was about what, second to third wave feminism. They fucked you out of the jobs that was supposed to go to your black men. So this whole thing of black men not working would have never, existed. So you get them all the jobs. That's why you see so many white women in the government and all that shit in government jobs, and they give you the breadcrumbs. And here's the crazy part: when those white women get those jobs, guess who they give them jobs to? They give it to their men.
Yep.
They get their sons and shit.
So are you basically saying that when black women went into the job market, they basically they took over the minority slot, and so there was no reason to hire black men anymore?
In other words, nobody's ever going to listen to white women and say they're going through a tough time because we all know they're the most protective women. All black women are pretty fucking protective, but they're fucking Karens. They complain about dumb shit. So nobody's gonna listen to them. But when you put black people who are the most disenfranchised of the country up there, guess what happens? Now you got a real voice. Now you got a real thing. And then what happens? The same thing during women's suffrage. They put your ass in the back, and all you get is the crumbs. The shit that we don't want to do, we'll give it to you. Instead of saying, you know what, my man needs a job. Now I can do it by myself. But yet, the black men who went through all those ass whoopings, the black men who fought back against the Klan, the black men who fought for the right were the least to fucking benefit from them. But then
Mm.
you'll have silly bitches like the one chick on Facebook say that black men past 33 are past their prime. Really?
And what world is she in? She
Yeah,
must
that
be.
She's
makes
in,
She must
absolutely
not
no
be on Earth. She
sense.
must be on Pluto.
but yet she doesn't have a black man.
And that's
Bitter.
the thing that give me the most because it be these chicks that talk the most shit. Oh, black men ain't this and black men ain't that, and will dick police us to the core and be like, okay, so what's your boyfriend? Oh, he's white. I don't date black men. Or they'd be like, oh, I'm gay. I don't date black men.
If
Well,
you, if
shut the
you
fuck
don't date
up.
anybody, one thing I'll say about brothers who date, majority of brothers, you may have a few who talk shit about black women. Majority of brothers who date outside their race, they do so quietly. A black woman even talks to a guy outside of her race, not even date, talks. She's got to pronounce it to the whole fucking world. And see, that's the shit that gets me upset. You're not valuing your men the way you're supposed to.
You know what?
What's up,
Do.
Felix?
I actually have noticed that, like men of value who have like lots of money and they date outside their race. Usually, they're not very vocal about it. They just make their choice and they go move on about their life. It's usually the lower value men who date outside their race who really are very vocal about it.
Yeah, and see, what kills it is this: anybody who will fucking commit treason against their own people, you're not to be trusted. You really think the other side is going to trust you? Do we respect Benedict Arnold in this country, or do we call that our fucking modern day Judas?
Mm.
Matter of fact, hey Charles, let me piggyback off what you saying because the funny thing is I go on Twitter a whole lot. You know how I get down. I just go on Twitter just to see the ridiculous things that people say. And I've seen and what you call it, feminism has gotten so ridiculous and so brainwashing to not just black women, to women in general, that I literally saw a whole argument of females saying that men are insecure if they're not banging a transgender woman. And I'm like, it's called preference. Just like waking up and just like if I was to wake up and say I'm gonna bang a man today was a preference, if you're saying, hey, I'm gonna bang a woman, that's gonna be a preference too. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just the most ridiculous things that people just say at this point. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, how do you bash men because we don't want trannies? It's
I
Because
like
have a
nothing.
ridiculous.
question.
Go ahead.
No, sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Why aren't if you look at the numbers, white men globally date outside their race more than any man on this planet. Why aren't they ever shamed for dating outside their race?
Because white men are known to go around the world and conquer other races and take them as their concubines or wives. Because black
Mm.
men are not given the same prestige and respect, especially because guess what? How do men period get prestige and respect out of what they conquered, out of what they build, out of what they destroy? When your women say you ain't shit and they're the loudest voices of the community, what respect globally do you get?
Mm.
Did I make a point?
Yeah.
See,
Absolutely.
you gotta understand something. Historically, women sing the praises of the warrior man. Okay, when we went to
Mm.
battle, it was the women who actually had to sing the praises of her son. She was the one who motivated her sons and her husbands to come with their spears in victory or die on their shield. You either die with honor or you live with the motherfucker. So when your women constantly build this bullshit narrative of you ain't shit, and we going out of our way to prove that we are the shit, something's got to give.
So is that whole toxic masculinity? Is that what?
Toxic masculinity is basically an affront against black masculinity. They try to say it's just men, but it's mostly black masculinity because guess what? Why do you think they go out of their way in so many movies and shows to make the black man gay? That's not our culture.
Right. Exactly. And and for the record, I don't believe in toxic masculinity. Like, I seriously don't, because America fears a masculine, strong black man who takes care of his kids. America fears that. And if they didn't, why did they, for example, why do you think they killed off James on Good Times? Because a strong black family is what America fears. Black people sticking together is what America fears. They don't want that. They want to kill masculinity. That's why they be quick to say, "Oh, it's toxic. It's toxic. Oh, we got to do something to change that." Why do you think cancel culture is a big thing?
But toxic masculinity. I hate to be a female and say this, but isn't that why we have our quote unquote freedoms today because of toxic masculinity? Men willing to fight and die and kill for our supposed freedom.
That's the
Right.
reason why. You got to understand something. That's the reason why you're not concubines. You're not conquered. The reason why you even have rights as a woman is because men said, you know what? We love our women so much, we want to make them partners. Boom, here you go. Please like the page. Please like the chat when you come in and say hello. See, when you go back in history, this quote unquote toxic masculinity was praised. Even your gods displayed masculinity. Did you ever look at some of the ancient gods of the ancient world? They were muscular, they were huge, big shoulders, big arms. They had a club or a spear or a sword in their hands. They were praised for it. So,
Zeus raped a lot of women and they praise him like he's a god to them.
exactly, exactly. So, when do you hear that in African spirituality? Ever?
Mm,
Oh, wait.
never.
But yet, they make us look like we're the ones who's always hungry and desolate, and we're sex-driven creatures. But yet, nobody realized the protection they have because they don't respect it. You look at it and you're saying this toxic masculinity, this is toxic. No, you just want men to be bitch. Eventually, something that's masculine is going to come out, and it's either going to be in the greatest way or the worst way. What's up, Ray Machine? Woo!
Did you see how they paraded that black woman all over the news media for I think this was a couple years ago. Her 16-year-old boy went out to protest, and she went to go find him in the protest, and she just whooped his ass all the way out the protest. And they
You
had
know,
her on a CNN and all these different channels. And then on the same token, those same black women that are telling black men not to stand up and fight for their freedom will sat there and watch Braveheart and go, "Woo, that's a man standing up for his people."
see, you got to understand something. You know what city that was in, by the way?
Mm-mm.
That was here home in Baltimore on the Freddie Gray riots, which me and Josh had to work. Correct, Josh?
Yep.
So you're gonna see one thing about it. A lot of people used to live off of something. We don't discuss family business outdoors. And if anybody wants to join the panel, please come in and also like and share the screen. See, you got to understand something. They paraded around because she was the one who tamped down black masculinity.
Mm.
Oh, she's a hero. She's a saint. Did they ever tamp down anybody who came out of anywhere and they said, you know what, we're going to keep our boys? They won't ever take the coach who gather all the boys in the neighborhood and get them to play sports. They won't get the mentors from Coppin and Morgan State who are the tutors to many of the students who passed the SATs. But whipping a child's ass in the public like that, any other time, they be the same motherfuckers calling child abuse on them.
Mm. You know what is funny? I thought about that too. I said, now if she wasn't emasculating him, would in public like that for the cause like that, would they have called CPS on her in any other way?
Yes, I know that. And Josh and I will tell you, just without a shadow of a doubt, yes. CPS would have been called and she'd have been hauled off to either jail or she'd be heavily investigated.
Right. But because she's emasculating and whipping, literally whipping the warrior spirit out of a young boy, she gets praised for it. And I thought it was so disgusting when I saw it.
And it's like you gotta realize, like when when you take out the warrior spirit of your boys early, you're gonna get the lackadaisical, afraid to afraid to challenge the environment type of men. You're gonna get the type of people who are not thinkers or leaders or doers. You're gonna get partners. You're gonna get guys who want to be stay-at-home husbands. But remember, this is what you were taught and what you wanted.
It's not what I wanted. But that's why I really believe in like the Charles Faulkner, I mean um the Gray Faulkner initiative for the men to take charge of the boys, because that's always how it's been in since the beginning of time, where the men take, after a certain age, after the nurturing is done and the self-esteem is done, the men take the boys and they put them on the walkabouts and they teach them how to be men. I firmly believe, and I know a lot of women are not going to appreciate me saying it's single mothers and this and that. They think that they can be the moms and the dads. I think that men have something to offer young boys that women just cannot give them, to teach them how to be men. Because I personally, I would know how to raise a man because I'm not a man. I don't think like a man. I don't behave like a man. Even if I put on a role, to try to be a tough guy or something, like I could never ever compete with the man. I don't think that women or men are equal. I think we're equally different.
Yeah.
And And so when I see like what's going on around me, and of course I'm not the brightest light bulb in the room, but I do flicker every now and again. So it's like, I see all of these boys being raised by mothers and the dads are not there for whatever reason. Okay, I'm not gonna put the blame on either one. Both are, have probably have their own responsibility and blame in the situation. However, what I've noticed is that the rise of single parent households, I mean, do we not notice a rise in like men becoming women?
That's the reason why it was a government incentive and initiative to tamp down the boys because the greatest number of boys that ever lived in American history was the baby boomers. And what did the baby boomers change since a lot of these fucking millennials and Zs think the baby boomers ain't do shit? The baby boomers gave you civil rights. The baby boomers fought against a lot of this shit. The baby boomers changed history in the world as a whole. So when they noticed that all these young men being born were changing the culture of America, hey, we got to control this shit. So
Mm.
who better to control it than the mother? Because she's going to spend the most time with that child, especially during his formative years. Now,
Eh,
when you do that, and you don't, and that boy is not being taught what it means to be a man or what a man is expected to do, you're going to have an incomplete creature, an incomplete man. He's a man by gender, but not by status and responsibility and power.
mm.
So when they start putting more feminist views and actually tapping down the boys and propping up the girls to give them more reading, science, and math, you notice that in high schools you don't see too many valedictorians who are black male, do you?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't been really
Go ahead,
paying attention.
look it up. Like Reading Rainbow says, don't take my word for it.
Right.
So when you see this, you see the reason why we have such a disconnect because we're culturally backwards to a lot of cultures. So what they try to do to strengthen the mothers, which would bring them close, the family closer together, did the complete opposite to our families and broke it up.
Mm.
Especially when from 1890 to 1980, you had an 85 to 90% marital rate in the black community. We were more married than anybody in the country. It's a damn shame that something like COVID has to happen for women to understand the value of men again. What if
Mm.
we didn't have cell phones and the internet? Well, let's say we were back to the 80s. A lot of people, there would be hundreds of millions of people out of work because you didn't have the internet like that or at all. Think about that.
Which, no, and you're right. And it still kind of gives women a cushion if you think about it, because they're still able to start their own online businesses and connect and do different things and feel like they're and there's like a false sense of what do you call it? Like security.
It's a security blanket.
Yeah.
So when you have that security blanket, if you don't value your men, who's going to protect you? You took all the warrior spirit out your men. Who's going to protect you?
Yeah, because if you think about it, all it takes is one natural disaster. Like if there was a tsunami, I'll
What's
be
up,
looking for the
Fraser?
biggest, honestly, if there was a tsunami, I'll be looking for the biggest, blackest, strongest man, and I'll be following his ass. I'll be honest with
And
you.
yeah, I mean,
Trying to,
when you look at disasters, let's look at something much modern. Let's look at Katrina, right?
hmm
Do you know how many cases of rape were in Katrina?
hmm yeah, a lot.
Do you know how many women and children were huddled around the men? Men actually had to stand in front and around the women to protect them.
Mm.
Because when you don't have laws or a social construct, that actually protects the women and children.
You go back
Because
to natural instinct.
you go back to cratocracy. For all of you who don't know what that means,
What does
it
that
means
mean? Oh,
might.
sorry.
It means might means right. The strongest will survive.
Mm,
Meaning, if you got something I want, I take it from you because I'm bigger, stronger, and faster than you.
mhm.
Unless you have something to defend you, that is such.
Right, and in most cases of disasters, people don't have easy access to, like, okay, say if you, even if you're a woman and you've been trained to shoot, if you don't have access to a gun, you still can get your ass whooped by a man who's stronger than you, and most men are stronger than women.
Yeah, I
So
mean, you got to think the average man who's not trained can bench press 135 pounds. Average woman around 60, 70.
mhm.
So at 135 pounds, I can bench press almost 500. You got a guy like me or somebody bigger and stronger than even me who says, I want you and you're going to sleep with me, and you say no, and there's no police or no man to protect you, what are you going to do?
I was just about to say that, Charles. I was like, and a lot of these, well, I'm not gonna say a lot of these women, but a lot of us women who think that in times of war, which a natural disaster could become a case of war. So it's like, if you think that you're gonna barter sex, that's not really a bartering tool, because a man will say, "Why do I have to barter when I can just take it?"
Exactly.
And
Because
it's
remember, women historically were looked at spoils of war. Not
mhm,
my view, but that's the historical count. So
mhm,
men decided, you know what, we need to build a society to house the children and the women. And that's the reason why you need men, because men naturally think of the entire group, where women think of nest, men think of legacy. It's not
mhm,
it's not good or bad, it's around no reason, like George Duke would say, but that's how it is. Women are great when it comes to nesting. You put a woman in a house and she will decorate and she will put all kinds of nice stuff in the house. You tell her to fucking plan for the country, you're fucked.
mhm,
But that's the strengths of the woman versus the strengths of the men. We have different purposes. We're not equals, we're complementary. We take up where the other slacks, we strengthen where the other doesn't. So until we get back to that mindset, we're going to be struggling either way. See, the more people say, I don't like these women, I don't like, guess what? Those are your women. Sorry.
So how do we get back to a more wholesome way or natural way of living? I mean, I hate to even use those words, but um because I don't want to, I see all these men becoming women, and I know that's not politically correct for me to say that, but what's going to happen if all the men are women? Do I have to become a man? I don't want to be a man.
Like, let me put it to you this way, right? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Nature historically has never had a vacuum. Why do you think so many women are growing, having more testosterone? Why do you think they're growing mustaches? Because they're taking on jobs men traditionally held. Why do you
Mm,
think they're getting all these stresses and ailments? So, to answer your question properly, one, with black people, period, what we need to do is stop being a slave to the social media.
mm.
What we need
Yeah, I
to
have
do
a
is
problem with
actually
that.
what we need to do is actually take control of our educational systems, because that's where you're the most indoctrinated. If you give me the child at 5 and I'll give you the man at 18, if I control what he sees, what he reads, what he does, what activity, put your boys around male spaces. Do not invade them. There is no way in hell the Boy Scouts should have girls in it. We already have a Girl Scouts. Well, the boys do cooler stuff. Well, guess what? Teach the Scout Masters for the Girl Scouts how to do the same shit, but stay the fuck away from the boys.
Mm,
Nobody ever thought about doing that. Oh, interesting. One, you're going to have to reinstate a rite of passage for young men and young women. Traditionally, the rite of passage for women was giving birth. But since we're not in the ancient era anymore, we're gonna have to think of something else. You're gonna have to bring back home economics. You're gonna have to bring how to teach you to be a responsible husband or wife. You're gonna have a rite of passage for the young boys where they're gonna have to survive on their own in the woods for 2 weeks. That way, let's say if I wanted you had a daughter, you know if he came out of my camp, you know that's gonna be a suitable husband, come rain, sleet, hail, or snow. We're gonna have to stop listening to other people of how to govern ourselves as decent people. See, we're all looking for an identity when we don't realize the whole world's trying to steal ours.
Hmm.
Don't forget to
And
like
it
the channel while you're coming in. Shout yourself out if you're in here. Woo.
and for me personally, it's very scary. Like I said, when I see a bunch of men, acting very effeminate and turning into women. I mean, no disrespect to the LGBT community, but wearing high heels and wigs, and okay, fine, do your thing. But the thing is, it's very scary for me because I'm like, I'm a woman. I'm not really prone to doing extraneous physical labor and going out and fighting, building all types of stuff. That's really just not my thing. I know a lot of people think because I got a loud mouth, and I act certain ways that I'm aggressive and I'm manly, but I'm really not. I'm very feminine, and I don't want to have to, because I'm afraid. When I look at the state of the men today, and I'm like, well, what the fuck is going to happen to me once all these men decide that fuck it, masculinity is too toxic. I'm going to become a woman. So if we're all women, then like number one, who am I going to mate with? Number two, who's going to build? Because I'm certainly not. Who's going to fight? Because I certainly don't want to. And so on and so forth.
Yeah. See, the problem is that, like you said about the men becoming effeminized, you have the women becoming masculine. I want to join the front line. You sure about that, sister? Here, carry this load. Carry this 100-pound bag. This rucksack. Carry that rifle. Carry that 210, 223 rounds. Excuse me, 5.56 in the military. Carry this AT4. Carry the extra rounds for that saw gunner right there for us. And you're carrying anywhere to 80 to 120 pounds of gear. You got to march for miles.
That's bad for your ovaries.
But then you wonder why you can't give birth. You can't get pregnant because you're fucked. You're not supposed to be stressed if you're trying to get pregnant.
And the thing about it is, I'm not trying to portray women as weak because I'm not weak. Like I went, to learn how to shoot an AR-15. I have a couple, quite a few weapons, but that's not for me to fight no war. That's just for personal protection. Just from, just like I would anything. Like I learned how to sew. I know how to cook. I know how to do a lot of things. So if I had a home invasion, I'm gonna let a nigga out. I mean, it is what it is. But it's not for me to just be on some everyday wartime. That like I can't imagine me, my little self, just ready for war on an everyday like just what GI Jane? No.
It's crazy because when you have women on the front line, people say, "Do you agree with women being in the infantry?" No, I do not. Not because I don't think they do the job. It's because one, the mission efficiency goes down. Then you want to put men in a position where there could be possible allegations of sexual misconduct.
I
You
got
don't
something
want
to say on
that.
that. See,
Now,
Charles, that's a whole nother thing, Charles. This is what I don't understand. Now, women, listen to me very carefully, please. I know y'all want to prove that y'all just as good as men, but why would y'all want to go to war and be on the front lines with men who literally are trained to kill? So if they're trained to kill, they basically they have to put their heart and their soul in their pocket so they can just kill as many people as possible. You think taking your pussy is, come on, taking your pussy ain't nothing. You know, they're murdering people. They on wartime, and you're right next to them. And if they don't have access to pussy and they did get hard, you right there. Oh, girl, I like the way you shoot that gun. Bend over so I can fuck you in your ass. It's nothing. I'm about to kill 1,000 people. Raping you means nothing to me. Why would you want to be next to a person, a man in wartime? It makes no sense to me.
I can answer that because that's the program. Men and women are equals. If I can lift 300 pounds, you can lift 300 pounds. That's what they believe and that's what they think. For some odd reason, shout out to BGS sharing the video. For some odd reason, you have women. I'm trained both men and women in wrestling, boxing, MMA, and also fitness. Some reason, women will think they'll see me bench press for reps 405. If he could do it, I could do it. I'll put like 125 pounds on the bar, and she can't even budget off the bar. Instead of trying to compete with men and we're in the realms where men dominate, ooh, Anthony Taylor, shout out, brother. Ooh, why not enjoy your feminine realm, which gives you the most protection? BGS showed a video last year about the chick who was fighting a white guy in McDonald's. Did she look feminine? Did she look like she needs protection? But I'm pretty sure she would have screamed and act all feminine or got the guys to talk to the guy. She would have had the protection of the world. But then you have people, oh, we're not protected. How the hell can we protect you when you jumping out of a damn speeding car? That's the equivalent of what you're doing.
Well, I'm all for defending yourself. If you look around and you're in like, I'm not the type of person that's gonna be a victim. I'm gonna do anything as a woman in my power to protect my personal body, my property, and my little kitties. So whatever I gotta do, no matter how I look, how crazy or masculine I look, I'm going to in that moment do what I need to do to protect myself in defense. However, what I don't understand is women that go into these spaces and they challenge men, and then a man overpowers them, and then they call foul. Now that is what I don't understand. You're low now somehow. You're still low. I don't know. Maybe it's like a glitch in your. No, it's still like kind of muffled. Okay. You know, honestly, I don't want to interrupt your flow, but you are really low, and I just don't want you to say something and no one hears you. You know. Okay. And yeah, and I completely agree with what you're saying. Is that like when you're more feminine, and let's just keep it real. Women, yes, yeah, you're louder. It's still
Sounds like you're
muffled,
talking from far
but you're
away.
louder. Yeah, it sounds like you're talking from far away. Maybe there is there like a do you have your earphones on or something? Do you have any earphones? If you have earphones, that'll probably solve the problem. Okay.
we balling on a budget, baby. Balling on a budget.
It's okay.
Gotta go
Well,
get some.
even like some little, like little earbuds or whatever.
Yeah,
I
I got
mean,
it
like
tomorrow. Tomorrow, run
five
out of
$5 earbuds. Okay.
shout out for Anthony Taylor for the $5 support and cash app donation. Thank you, brother. See, yeah, you just reminded me I gotta get some equipment runs. Josh, to the Walmart. Bring up the chariot to the Walmart. Oh yeah.
Yo, you super.
Shit, I'm so I'm not old, but shit, I was about to say, Josh, to the Radio Shack.
What did you say to the radio? What?
To the Radio Shack.
Oh, the Radio
It's like-
Shack, right?
It's like the Dudley Boys. Devon, get the table.
Man, and even funny from it, like, to the Circuit City.
Yeah, Circuit City. You taking it back?
I'm just looking at it where I try to encourage female to be their most feminine. Like, I'm not saying don't defend yourself. Yes, if you're by yourself and you're in a predicament, which you did not start, yes, by all means, defend yourself. Carry a stiletto, carry 3, 4, whatever you can legally carry. Get your keys, put them in your hands, and make a fist in case somebody comes up to you, punch them and run like hell screaming. Don't try to stand toe to toe. Scratch them in the eyes and get the fuck out of there. Chop them in the throat, punch them in the goddamn throat, elbow them in the eye, break something, get the fuck out of there. But this is the part. But most of the times when you're screaming and help, somebody's trying to hurt me, there are guys who are going to step up because that's our protective nature coming out. And a lot of women don't realize the best that comes out of you, the best that comes out of us, it's symbiotic. But I'm talking about those women. I fight men. Well, motherfucker, you never talk about women. Like, Josh can tell you, when the woman was more aggressive than the guy you don't see.
Like that.
I agree with you. I have this. Well, everyone has this sentiment that white woman tears are powerful, and in a way that it's like it's true. Like they get to crying and they will start wars. You know what I'm saying? It's like they start crying, and next thing you know, your men are ready to wage war. And so tears are very powerful coming from a woman, but also we also have to pay attention. We also have to take a look at the dehumanization of Black women too. When Black women act, even when we go to the hospital, like there's studies done on this. Even when we tell the hospital, "Oh, my knee hurts," they don't take us seriously. I've been to the hospital. And a lot of people might consider me to have light skin privilege or whatever, but I've literally been to the hospital and I'll tell a doctor, hey, and I don't, this is why I don't go to doctors anymore. I start doing my own, holistic stuff, because I don't trust the doctors anymore. When I went to that doctor and I told him, hey, can you check this out? They'll write it down and act like they're paying attention to me, and they'll go through the regular rigmarole. And I didn't understand what was happening to me when I didn't get any real service. I didn't understand what was happening to me until there was a study that came out that so many Black women go to the hospital and they say something is wrong with them, and the doctors will not take them seriously. And a lot of Black women actually die while giving birth because the doctors are not really. They think that they know better than what they're not paying attention to what the Black woman is saying. And this is a phenomenon in American medical system. And so, yeah, white women's tears are powerful, but does Black women tears work the same? There's been plenty of.
I can give you an incident when a guy was working in the Family Dollar, and she didn't want to wear her mask. So the guy who was working security, doing his job, saying, "You cannot enter without a mask, man." She goes, gets her husband, and gets her son. They shoot the guy in the head.
Right, but
it's powerful. See, this is
But but also too, Charles, that is, that's one incident. But
oh, that's
if
plenty of
you look at,
incidents.
but
Let's
if
see.
you but if
Hold up. Let's look at so many incidents. How many women have said, "I'm going to get my father to kick your ass," my brothers, my cousins, my boyfriend, my side nigga, my husband.
you funny. That's funny actually.
I mean, but it's true. Doesn't make it any less true.
Okay, all right, y'all beat me on that one. Y'all got that one.
Yeah. So yeah, it works both ways.
Cause I've done it. I've done it.
So yeah, uh-huh. See, I'm hoping somebody who else want to get up on the fan. Put the thing in the chat in case
I'm guilty. Okay, well, you know. Well, yeah, but also too to to still, harp on my same point. A lot of times black women don't feel safe in calling for help because also, okay, I'm about to switch it. I'm about to switch it up. Ride with me real quick. Sometimes black women don't feel safe because, well, not only that, it's also indoctrination too. You got to think about this. Black women are shamed into not being strong. Think about it. If you're not strong, it's like, women, it comes from men and it comes from women. Black women are automatically expected to be tough. And so we kind of play this role like, I can handle this. I'm going to get through this. Oh, don't worry, girl. This type of shit. And so we're kind of indoctrinated into being the tough girl. And I'm gonna be honest with you, like a lot of us don't necessarily like being tough, but we're pressured into being tough and hard as rock because, to be the rock of the family, to be able to, take anything that comes along, to be able to,
I got one word for that.
yeah.
Shit.
You know what? That ain't even a word. That's an exaggerated gasp. Get the fuck out of here.
Shit. I'm gonna tell you. Number one, a lot of them, a lot of them like it. Okay, a lot of them like the power. They just don't like the responsibility. They love the authority. They love the power. They don't want the accountability and responsibility that men have to deal with.
Well, you
See,
got a point there.
when men have to take shit. Think about it. I'll break it down even further. An absentee father is going to get blamed more for why a child is fucked up than a toxic mother. I love you too, Linda. See,
True.
and it's just like this. When a woman talks about, well, why can't we be partners? Because when the marriage fucks up or the kids are fucked up, nobody's going to look at you. They're going to look at him because he's the head.
Well,
And it's easy to
everybody
place
except for
blame
that.
on a dude.
Well, everybody except for that child, because a lot of children when they grow up with the quote unquote toxic mother, but all black women are not toxic mothers.
No,
But
not all of
because
them.
because the young child grows up without the father, they begin to idealize the absent parent and blame the parent that was there. Now let's go with your point that the mother was toxic. Okay, fine, there are a lot of toxic mothers. My mom was actually toxic, so I do know that dynamic. My mother was a crackhead, so I am technically a crack baby, and that's probably why I act the way I act sometimes. But that's another story. Anyway, so I understand about toxic mothers. So I'm not, trying to coddle uh, toxic mothers. But what I'm saying is this: like I said, in correlation to what I said before, I do not believe that women have the capacity to raise men to their full capability. And also, when it comes to women, to raising young women, I think that there's a dynamic where it's just like, okay, women are already catty amongst each other. And so little girls like me, my father died when I was a young girl. And so I didn't have that fatherly influence. I didn't have that escape. And so I missed out on a major piece of my life, of my childhood development, because I did not have a father. Now, my mother, she had other men around, or whatever, but they never were really father figures to me. They were more so like, just trying to get up in my mama's panties. You know how it goes, whatever.
So
Me dealing with a single
you
mother.
gotta think about it, right? A
Mm,
father is a little girl's first love and a little boy's first hero.
right.
That is the only man in your life who will give you something and not look for shit in return. I won't say only,
Mm.
but he's the first, and for some women, the only. So you're going to judge men based around your father or how your mother views your father. And what happens is a lot of kids hate their father because they get told only one side of the story. And here's another benefit that people don't understand about a lot of women. And my sister said this one time. A lot of women tell the truth on two occasions, and that's not day and night. It's when she's broken and too old to lie.
Wait, hold on. Wait, you crazy. We say when she's broken and when else?
Too old to lie. When
She
she's
wrote the
past her,
lie?
in other words, when she's past the point of bearing children.
Oh. So basically after she hit the wall.
Yeah, when she hits the wall, she has no reason to lie anymore.
Mm,
When she's gonna
okay.
be blunt. You ever notice how grandma's so blunt in the families? Because she doesn't.
But
She's not gonna
so Charles, how do you explain me? I'm always so blunt and I can still have children.
because nobody's gonna allow you to bullshit them in these sectors. That's why
Yeah,
we
well,
either
yeah, you might be right about that.
because we're not gonna allow people to bullshit us for something that we commonly see every day. So that's the reason why. So you come a little. We're gonna come much more honest and brutally honest and that than the average woman who comes on platforms. So
Mhm.
when you deal with a lot of women when she's broken, like when a woman's in a battered relationship and she's finally, I picked the wrong guy. It was my fault. Or when she loses her children, I wasn't the right mother. Any other time, she ain't gonna tell her. It's not me, but men, we
I
gotta
see.
say we.
Just, do you think a lot of women lie because they know that the situation that they're in, and so they say, "Well, shit, if I don't lie, I'm not gonna have any options."
Well,
Just how like dudes do, like they're like, "Well, I know I don't have no money, but if I can lie just long enough, until I can get some pussy, then it's cool."
well,
you,
here's the psychological profile of most women, if not almost all of them.
Mm,
Women tend to love to hear the lies they like to be told. A woman knows she's not the most beautiful woman on earth, but she likes to hear that she's the most beautiful woman on earth.
true.
So, and then you got to remember, women are more psychological than men because we're physical. So they have to have reasonable subterfuge. You know, it's the old saying, don't ask questions you really don't want the answer to. It's like the old joke when this husband asked his wife in the middle of the night, can you say something that'll make me smile and make me cry at the same time? And she said, that's easy. You got the
I
biggest
remember.
penis out of all your friends. Why? For the so, so he's sitting there all confused. So
I gotta go mute.
so when you're dealing with women, they're gonna be more cerebral. They're gonna know how to stroke your ego. They know how to tell you stuff because they don't have the physical strength to do the things we do. So they got to be more cerebral. They're gonna have. That's why women can have a guy who's great for conversation. They have a guy who's great for taking her out on dates. They're gonna have a guy who's great sexually. They're gonna have a guy who's great stroking her ego. So it's a lot of things that women psychologically had to do to survive. I mean, think about it. Samson was putting foot knee deep
No,
in
I need
Philistine.
wait, Charles. I need you to tell me that joke one more time.
I never claimed to be. So,
I got
never claimed to be. So I bet you that got everybody thinking. Everybody's up now.
That's fucked up.
Fucked up, but it's true. Oh, don't ask questions. You're not ready for the answer. That's what the moral of the story is. Don't ask that question. And shit. Oh man. Y'all wrong for this. Y'all wrong for this. And it's like even Samson in the Book of Judges was putting foot knee deep in Philistine ass. I mean, slaying 1,000 people here, carrying fucking fortress, fucking drawbridges on his back the size of a goddamn wall, beating people upside the head with a damn jawbone of a donkey. But it took one chick, one chick to stroke his ego and probably something else, and he was defeated.
Mhm.
So they're psychological. They beat us in the physical.
Some people think that it's too late for us to, get back right. Do you think it's too late? I don't think it's too late. I think it's just like conversations like this and really having understanding for each other's like sicknesses and illnesses, like rather than us like judging each other and being so harsh and like being separatist. See, I think that's our biggest problem as Black people, us being separatists. You know, um, I think that's what like literally separates us. Like, and so there's a saying like, divided we fall, united we stand, and so that's the whole meaning behind the fist. My cousin had to point that out to me one day. She was like, you know what the Black Power fist mean, right? And I was like, nah, I'll be raising my fist all the time, and I never understood the meaning. But the meaning is that when you have your hand open, or open palm, people can, somebody can break your fingers, one by one, and just break you off one by one. But when you close that motherfucker together and you got a strong, powerful fist, it's you can't penetrate that. And that's why you put that fist in the air. United, divided we fall, united we stand. And I thought that was so powerful when my cousin told me that, you know, um, and so that's what I say. It's like we can't divide ourselves by religion, ideology, social classes, languages, where the different countries that we were born, different shit like that, hair texture, skin color, and all of that shit. We have to be united based on one agenda, you know. And what is the agenda? The liberation of melanated people globally, and that's really, very important to me. Um, I know that I might be a weirdo to most Black people, but just because I'm a weirdo don't mean that I'm not one of y'all. Like it don't mean that I'm against y'all. It just means that I'm just I'm just different. I'm just a different ass person. It doesn't mean it, and so if we keep treating people in a way to where it's like just because they're a little bit different, or if they don't necessarily look at a certain situation the way you look at it, okay, you gotta exclude them, throw them out the gate, or just don't even validate them at all. Like we gotta stop doing each other like that, because we have to understand that we've been separated for a reason, and that's so we don't unite. But it's one thing for others to separate us, but if we separate each other, then we're gonna be fucked up for real, you know. And so that's just my own opinion about it. Um, I don't know what happened, but anyway, so I'm gonna keep talking. So yeah, that's my opinion about it for real, because I meet a lot of different Black people, all around the globe, and I see so many wonderful melanated people speaking. I'm talking about Arabic. They speak Brazil, Portuguese. They speaking French, they speaking English, they speak Spanish. You got people that only speak Braille, deaf and blind motherfuckers. Like, I mean, you got all types of different black people. You have LGBT community of black people. You have black people that, are very rich. You have black people that are very poor. You have black people that are in the middle. You have black people that are different shades. You have black people that almost look white. That's just the real shit. You have black people that are just black as night, and I've met so many beautiful black people. Well, I call them black because that's like, I guess, the standard now, like where we can identify each other. But, I like to say melanated, whatever. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we call each other. The one thing that I've noticed when I went to all these different countries and all these different communities, like what I noticed is that they all want to separate themselves from other black people. And I feel like that's the number one problem that we have. And that's why I feel like that's why we are not banding together. Like, yes, we are the majority, but the only thing separating us is that, okay, you don't want to fuck with this person because you're a Christian and they're Muslim, or okay, I'm a witch and you're a Buddhist, or whatever, and you think I'm evil, I think you're evil. Okay, at some point we got to get over all of that dumb shit. We're gonna have to come together. You see all of these other people, they don't come together under a certain religion. They don't come together under a certain like ethnic background. They come together under one agenda. And so why the fuck can't we do that? Come together under one agenda. Like, okay, maybe I don't agree with you. Maybe you don't eat the same foods as me. Okay, you eat pork, I don't eat pork. Fuck it. We can get past that. What's the agenda, bro? Okay, boom. We're not even gonna talk about that because I know you got your, we can agree to disagree, but this is not why we're here. Really, why we're here is to get there. Boom. And so that's what it is. Like, if you think about it, like there was a show, I remember back in the day, there was a show called what was that motherfucking shit name? Survival of the Fittest, I think it was. And motherfuckers would come together like, okay, hold up. We got a bigger enemy. It ain't about me and you, because if you listen, we both gonna lose if we don't come together. So guess what? That's all. That's everything has to do with allies. If you look at these different countries, Russia and China, they got together. They said, hey, we got a bigger enemy fight. Let's put our differences aside. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get together. And that's what the fuck it is. That's the main thing. You know, I don't know. Maybe I'm just talking out the side of my neck, but maybe somebody can hear me. I feel like I'm talking to myself. I don't like talking to myself. Sometimes I do. But anyway, and that's the thing. It's about
You
it,
are talking to yourself. People love you. Keep speaking, woman. Keep speaking.
uh,
No, take chaos if he's still there.
so it's like, like I say, everybody understands like an agenda. If you got a certain agenda, it doesn't matter if you like if you agree with that, everything that person doing. Okay, maybe that person is polygamous, or maybe that person believes in having 4 kids and you only believe in having 2 kids, whatever. Are you going to focus on the petty differences? Are you going to focus on like, okay, what is our ultimate agenda? Okay, well, I'm going to, let you do you, you let me do you. We're not going to infringe on each other, and we're just going to follow this agenda. Boom. And then once we handle this bigger enemy that we got, or this bigger obstacle that we got, okay, then we can face our problems. But right now, it's not doing me no favors, it's not doing you no favors, versus we arguing while we about to get conquered by this big ass motherfucking beast and this demon. And so that's what I think, that's like my ultimate thought about like black people, like just globally. I feel like we all been separated, we all been oppressed, we all been enslaved. And so for you to worry about me because I'm a witch, or me to worry about you because you're a Christian, or me to hate on you because you got money, or you to hate on me because I'm ghetto, or whatever the motherfucking case is, or because I don't speak the King's English and you think that I'm not educated or whatever. Maybe I'm not educated, but whatever. That's not like the most important thing. Or you think I'm a lazy ass bum, or I think you a prude ass bitch, or whatever it is, or you think I'm a whore, I'm a side chick, I'm a mistress, whatever, and you think that you all that. Fine, whatever. All of that. Why do we have to separate ourselves at a time like this where we are literally becoming extinct? They're killing us on a global scale every fucking day. Like, why do you have to be better than me? Why do I have to be better than you? Like, why can't we just come together with one agenda? Now, all of it, once we get rid of this fucking enemy, this immediate fucking threat that's right in front of our face, why don't we handle that immediate threat together and become comrades beyond our differences? And then once we do that, then we can settle our differences, you know? But why we gotta motherfucking fight each other in times of war? Like, really, this is a war that's been going on for thousands and thousands of years. I mean, let's go ahead and keep it real. And anybody that doesn't see it and recognize it as such, I mean, you're really just not paying attention. I see it, and I'm not even a scholar. Like I told you, like I don't have no formal education. I'm a crack baby. I'm not really anyone of real importance like that. But I have eyes, I have a mind, I have a brain, I have, I can see what's going on around me. So it's like it really hurts me when I see people, especially black people, the people I have an affinity for, melanated people, people of color
Hey,
globally.
can I ask you this question? I want you to fill it in. A
Yeah.
little bit of stuff I got to do. Do you think there's a lot of women who met their
I'm sorry,
husbands?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you because you're kind of like muffled.
What about now? What about now?
You're muffled.
Oh, Jesus Christ. What about now?
I'm sorry, sweetheart. When you came in the first time, like just now, you were very clear. So I don't know what you're doing or what you're not doing, but just now when you came in, you were very clear.
What about now, lady?
No, it's still the same. Whatever you did before when you came in, you said everyone's listening. That was very clear.
God damn it, I ain't doing shit. See, I bet you heard that one. But no.
No, it's not. I'm not trying to hate on you. It's just more so like I just don't want you to talk and then waste your thoughts.
I was saying, I'm going to type it in the chat to see if you see it.
Okay, I can definitely see if you type in the chat.
Because it's lovely. Who else is there? Yeah. What's up? Greetings. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. Can anybody hear me? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, welcome. I'll need the Rogers. Hello, can anybody hear me? In the chat, give me a one if you can hear me.
Oh crap! I was on mute. I appreciate you having me, Charles.
Okay, I put a question in the chat. Do you think women meet their husbands? Well, I spelled meet wrong. Goddamn spell check. Do you think women meet their husbands early in life and blew it? Because I heard that from Kevin Samuels. I want to get everybody's opinion on it. In the chat and in the panel. Go ahead.
Oh, you're perfect. You're perfect. I think possibly. I can't 100% agree with that because a lot of times you don't know yourself when you're younger. But I think possibly.
Hello.
Strong possibility.
Hello.
What about you, Trinity?
Well, I think I have a multi-dimensional answer to that. If you have patience, I'm willing to explain. I think that women in general, they love to, they love the idea of love, and they want to get married, and depending on who you meet, maybe you're not gonna like go for the nerd or the guy that's quiet and good or whatever. Maybe he's after you, but maybe you're trying to get married to the guy who is, who you're attracted to, and so I think that women are always, I mean, that's what we've been indoctrinated into marriage. Like, ever since we were children, we get the Barbie dolls with the wedding dresses, and having the babies and the baby carriage with the kin and all that. They indoctrinate us for that. Okay. So it's not that women don't want to get married. A lot of men have been indoctrinated to run, we don't love these hoes, the music. We don't love these hoes. Half. Why half? Half. Why you wasn't shooting? You wasn't in the court shooting with me in a gym type shit. Let's keep it real. And then it's like, okay, hold up. If you ain't no punk, holla, you want prenup, all that type of shit. So it's not just the woman's fault that they're not getting married. We both, men and women, we both have to share the responsibility. And really, it's not just us, it's also our parents and what they allowed us to listen to, what they allowed us to be exposed to. So we can't just blame it on women, turning down, the nice guys. We also got to blame it on the guys turning down the nice girls too. Because just the way you asked me that question, we can ask men the same questions. How many good girls have you ran through? Because let's keep it real. I'm not trying to, offend anybody. Well, let me keep it real. I really don't give a fuck about offending nobody, but let's go ahead and keep it real. Every man say that they want a virgin, right? Now, is that a genuine consensus? Chat
Somewhat,
room? Okay, somewhat.
somewhat,
Okay,
because
okay, okay. Hold on.
we
Okay,
like
hold
the
on. Hold on.
virgin, but we kind of
Okay. Okay, hold on.
we're
Hold
kind
on.
of
Hold on.
complex. Hold
Okay,
up. We're
hold
complex
on. Let
because
me
we
finish.
like
Hold
the
on. Hold
virgin,
on. Hold on. Before
but
you go into your
we
tangent,
like the
listen.
virgin
I'm
to
gonna
be
hold on.
teachable.
I'm gonna let you go into your tangent, but I have something that I want to lay out before you go into your tangent. Is that okay?
Go ahead, lay it out.
Okay. Thank you so much. So generally, when you speak to men, what they say, generally they say they don't want a woman that's run through, and preferably a virgin, preferably somebody who don't have a lot of miles on them. Okay, that's perfect. Cool. However, now this is the question that I ask. When all of these women that you talk to were virgins at one point in time, how do you know they were virgins? Because that's biological, right? All of these women started out as virgins. Now, all of these women somehow, some way, open up their legs for some man. Now, that very man that convinced that very woman to open up her legs, why didn't he marry her first, and or after he took her virginity, marry her? When you go off and you claim that you're looking for virgins, now we know that that's a goddamn misnomer, because if all of these men that claim they're looking for virgins, there wouldn't be so many hoes out here. Because if let's keep it real. I'm not trying to be funny, and I'm not trying to create no ripples, but men create hoes, because the only time a hoe exists is when a man decides to run up inside some pussy. So now these women that were virgins at one point, these men that were there before any other nigga was there. Come on now. You was the first nigga there. Why didn't you decide and make the choice to marry and make an honest woman out of that woman? And I'm not trying to challenge anybody. Not right now. But I just want to let y'all, if y'all honest, I want y'all to think and ride with me and flow with me on this journey that I'm trying to take you down. You got so many hoes out here. And you got so many niggas out here talking about they looking for virgins and virtuous women. However, how did these women become hoes? Because all of these hoes were at one point virgins, but somehow, some way, they are still unmarried. Now we gotta We gotta address that. We have, if we're gonna, claim that these bitches and these hoes is loose, we gotta look at the other side because, like I said, I'm not gonna pick sides, but at the same time, we have to be fair and we have to be genuine. And if y'all want to have a conversation that's genuine, we have to look at the facts. A lot of these hoes that y'all done ran through were versions because it's biology now. This ain't me just talking out the side of my neck. This is actual biology.
Wait.
Hold on. I did not say that I was done, sir.
Hey, we got to speed it up so
Okay.
everybody else can get it.
Hold on. Wait. Don't tell me what I need to speed up. No, because you're getting triggered.
Come on, I'm not
Are you
getting
getting?
triggered.
Hold on. Are you getting triggered? Are you getting triggered? See, no. Don't bring it. Hold on. Now, don't bring the demon out of me, sir. I'm being nice. Now, hold on? Can everybody agree that I've been being nice? Everybody who knows me, y'all know how.
This is the reason why I said speed it up. I don't like to mute people. It's because everybody else wants to have a turn to talk. Now just unmute yourself.
Being nice thus far.
You didn't know that you were muted? Like, Jesus, I said you have to speed it up because somebody else wants to have dialogue.
Okay, but at the same time, like what I'm saying, that's not for you to decide. Now, if
in
Charles
other words,
comes, hold on, no. In other words, you're being disrespectful.
No,
if Charles tell me that, then it's something else. But right now, you're speaking out of turn.
This is Charles speaking,
sir. No, you're not Charles. I know Charles' voice, sir. I've been knowing Charles for years. I know Charles' voice.
This is Charles.
Excuse me.
So,
okay. Well, I'm sorry,
right, young lady.
I apologize. What I must go. Hold on. That must be your sweet voice. Is that your sweet voice?
I'm just saying that right now, I'm trying to get everybody a point that can talk and speak to the dialogue. Now, can we keep that respectful towards each other, right? Trinity?
Yes. Thank you.
Charles. Thank you. Now, we're going to give Green Machine a turn to actually have his time to speak.
Okay, Charles.
Thank you. I'm going to mute myself so he can speak. Then you can make your rebuttal, Trinity.
Okay.
Well, what I was going to say is I've had a version or two. And,
did you marry him?
No, I was 18.
Exactly.
I was 18. I mean, you really expect a guy 18 fresh out of high school to put a ring on a finger of a girl who's what, 17?
Who you stuck your pussy? Who you stuck your dick in?
Well, yeah, but there's also accountability on her behalf for
and your part too.
To do it.
So you creating hoes out here?
She's not a hoe. She's actually gotten married and she has a child.
Well, but according to a lot of men, that's the whole point I was trying to say. This is why I wanted to finish what I was saying. This is the whole point, because for a lot of men, women who have been touched are defiled, and depending on how many bodies you have, that lessens your property value. That's what all I'm trying to say. So when you sat there and you de-virginize a woman, okay, and then you don't marry her, that's a strike on her record. According to y'all, that's your rhetoric. It's not my rhetoric. So that's why I'm not against you. I'm with you, actually. But we also have to be, fair. That's all I was saying.
I hear you. And then, actually, my first version, I was actually 16. So 2 years prior to that. So I was supposed to marry her too.
Sure. Sure. You can.
Wait a minute though. Oddly enough, she ends up getting with a 26-year-old, and she's been married for 12 years after that.
So what I'm trying to say is this: the same standards that you have for the woman to keep her legs closed, and I believe in that standard. Even though I lost my virginity when I was 19, whatever. But what I'm trying to say is this: The same standard that you have for the woman to keep her legs closed. All I'm asking is that you have that same standard for your dick. Because what happens is just because your dick is hard, your dick rises up, and you want to stick your dick in something. You don't give a fuck about the woman and her future. But then what you want to do is once you stick your dick inside her, you want to call her a hoe or you want to call her a thot. Let's not act like even in high school, women didn't get bad reputations because you decided to get your dick hard and you decided to stick your dick in something. You know what I'm saying? Like women get such a bad reputation when actually the blame is on both of y'all.
So these females don't have accountability for
No,
allowing
no, you
guys
so
to have
hold
sex
on.
with
So
them.
hold on. Did you not just hear what I said? See, that's what your problem is. You're not listening to me. I said females and males have the same blame, the same accountability. Y'all both are responsible for what happened, but the problem is this. Men often like to only blame the female and avoid responsibility, their own part. That's what I'm trying to say. You like to create holes, but you forget how holes were created. That's what I'm trying to say. So if you stick your dick all the way up in a bitch hole and an asshole in her mouth, you convince her, because you say, "Oh, I love you." "Oh, girl, let me just, hit the back of your throat real quick." "Oh, let me get up in that asshole real quick. Let me hit that pussy. Boom. Let me titty fuck you and this and that." You convince her, you act like you love her and this and you don't give no fucks about it. You just want to get some pleasure. But after you done using her body like a goddamn masturbation tool, then you want to call a bitch a hoe. See, that's not fair because you are literally creating a hoe while you're blaming her for being a hoe. It's weird. Just like now I'm gonna give you an example. Just like these raggedy ass black dark skinned women who complain about colorism while literally fucking white men. I blame them the same way. How the fuck you complain about colorism while you're actively fucking white men? It does not make any sense. You're a hypocritical person and also a fucking fraud. That's all I'm saying. So I'm not judging you for what you're doing. I'm just trying to, shine a light on what you're doing so you can see. I'm trying to be a mirror so you can see what you're doing. You cannot create hoes and then blame hoes for being hoes. That's all I'm saying. Just like dark-skinned women cannot blame light-skinned women for colorism while they fucking white niggas. Like, it don't make no sense. It's hypocrisy at its finest. That's all I'm saying.
Hey, hey, we gonna stop that goddamn yelling between y'all two. We gonna have a dialogue. Now,
I'm done talking. I'm done talking. I'm Charles. I just wanted to get my point across. I'm done talking.
Hold on. Can I have a dialogue? If anybody want part 2 of Trinity and Green Machine, put a 1 in the chat. Because tomorrow we're gonna do part 1. Check out your local YouTube listings. Anybody want to have some last words? Because we're gonna get part 2 of this tomorrow.
I'm sorry, Charles. Was I out of line? I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be out of line. It's just
no. I gotta shut it down because it's getting kind of late.
Okay.
So, anybody want to have their last thoughts, or they want to save them for tomorrow?
My final thoughts is she has validity in her argument, but we also have to look at the outside influences as well as the upbringing of said guy and girl. So we can't overlook
What's
that.
Diango, honey?
But
Can you explain that to me?
Hold up. This isn't dialogue. This is final thoughts.
But at either rate, I really
what's
appreciate you
Diango?
having me.
Like I said,
we're giving hold up. We're giving final thoughts, and we're going to continue tomorrow night.
Okay.
But at either rate, I really appreciate you having me on. It's been a pleasure, and I'll definitely look forward to further speaking of this issue and other issues at a later date.
Trinity, did you give your final thoughts?
Oh yeah, well, what I want to do is I want to thank you, Charles, for not muting me and
You're
being a
welcome, sweetheart.
man, a real man, and not feeling like you have to mute me to silence me, because that's very important to me. Even though I say things sometimes people don't want to hear. At the end of the day, I just really appreciate you for letting me have my voice and not muting me and being unfair. So I just will really truly want to thank you for that. Hello.
Thank you for everybody joining us. Thank you, Trinity, Green Machine, my boy Josh, Chaos Rain. Woo! See you tomorrow, and we're out. Hit my theme music. Woo!